6:04, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, Mornings with Brian Haldane, off and running. Brian here with you, John LaBeouf producing. We are starting you off at 81 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge to begin your Wednesday. Busy show lined up for you today. Looking forward to every ounce of it. We got attorney Franz Borghardt in for Legally Served, answering the question, is the separation of church and state a myth? We'll chat. Going education heavy in the 7 o'clock hour. We've got from the school board, Patrick Martin coming up at 7:15, and from the Baton Rouge Alliance for Students, Donica Duggan at 7:35. Plethora of topics to cover within. Let's talk about this pilot program where they're moving start times of schools. That's going to be on the table for Patrick. Also, the school board voted to nix a few contracts. We will talk about that as well. Forrest Galante is going to join us in the 8 o'clock hour. Who's Forrest Galante? He is let me get his exact title here. A wildlife biologist. Forrest Galante. Where are you going to hear from him? You are going to hear from him tonight on a little show called Alien Sharks. And then again on Friday on a little show called Florida's Death Beach. And then again on Monday when Discovery brings you Animals on Drugs. Oh, yeah.
Are we talking like cocaine sharks?
We are talking, yes, that is exactly what we're talking about.
Did you know?
That's exactly what
Did you know that sometimes dolphins will mess around with like pufferfish and get high off them?
I did not know that.
You're welcome, Brian.
I did not know that. But that is what we got going on today. Oh, and of course, Foodie Friday, Restaurant Week continues all week long. I believe the folks from Nino's, the new owners of Nino's, are going to be in for Restaurant Week. But before we get to any of that, we start you off with top stories and trending. I don't have internet.
Number 5.
Coca-Cola said Tuesday they're going to add cane sugar or add a cane sugar version of their trademark Coca-Cola to their lineup this fall, confirming a recent announcement by President Donald Trump. Trump said in a social media post last week, Coca-Cola had agreed to use real cane sugar in their flagship product in the U.S. instead of high fructose corn syrup. What does this mean for Louisiana? Well, we will have Dr. Mike Strain on tomorrow to talk about exactly that.
Number 4.
West Feliciana Parish President Kenny Havard was found guilty of simple battery for hitting another man in the face. According to Chuck Spillman, Havard assaulted him before a parish council meeting back in December.
Number 3.
Hood Container Corporation, a family-owned packaging and paper company headquartered in Atlanta, on Tuesday, or yesterday I should say, announced that they're investing $118.9 million to modernize the paper mill up there in St. Francisville.
Number 2.
One person died in a shooting at Cathedral Drive, and this can't be right. One person died in a shooting at Cathedral Drive and Wyandotte Street Tuesday evening. Baton Rouge police officials confirmed. According to BRPD, officers were dispatched to the 3700 block of Cathedral Drive, which is nowhere near Wyandotte for the record, around 6:30 p.m. when they found a man with multiple gunshot wounds. First responders tried to render aid, but that man did die.
Number 1.
We've got another yellow X on the board here as we make our way through hurricane season. Not unlike that storm we were tracking last week that was in the Atlantic just off the coast of Florida and then had to come across Florida into the Gulf. Yeah, similar trough of low pressure on the southern end of a frontal boundary located just offshore of the southeastern U.S. coast. It is associated with a broad area of disorganized storms and could make its way across Florida into the Gulf. And right now, it's showing a very low possibility of that. 10% chance that it becomes a named storm over the next 7 days. It's trending, John.
Well, as you mentioned earlier, a national movement to change school start times is gaining momentum as sleep experts highlight the crisis of students' sleep deprivation.
Yep. We'll talk with Patrick Martin about this. I'm looking forward to this conversation. For sure. Is this one that, like, okay, so you push start times back, right? Well, aren't the kids just going to stay up even later?
One would think, right?
Right.
At least,
but apparently the science doesn't back up that theory.
Okay.
So that's the theory that makes sense to me, but the science doesn't back up that theory.
Fascinating conversation coming up, I'm sure.
Yep.
President Donald Trump announced a major trade deal with Japan yesterday that involves a $500 billion investment in the U.S. from Japan and 15% tariffs on goods coming in.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it. Deal by deal,
Indeed.
country by country, tariff by tariff. We've been
right.
saying it the whole time. No one's going to bat 1,000 here,
No.
but there will be some wins along the way.
Absolutely.
And the nature of this deal makes it seem like it is one of those wins.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Well, tragic news coming out of music yesterday. Ozzy Osbourne passed away yesterday. He was 76 years old.
Hard to miss that one. That's
Yeah.
pretty much everywhere. We had it in ABC News at the top of the hour right here.
Wow.
Legend.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolute
not just in
impact.
the music world, but
Yeah.
In the reality TV world as well.
Culturally, right?
Yep.
I mean, man. Oh, it's the beginning of Angry Birds begins with the Black Sabbath song.
Oh,
I mean,
really?
Yeah. So it's just culturally, you know, it's a huge impact, huge loss.
Did not know that.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm.
So
76 years old was Ozzy.
Wow.
We're at 610 at Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Counting down to Brian's Big Adventure. At least that's what we're calling it, Brian's Big Adventure. Be on the lookout this weekend on Talk 107.3 FM's social media. There's going to be plenty of content out there. Taking the fam on a little road trip, courtesy of the Louisiana Travel Association. Getting a better look up close and personal with, we're keeping it in Southeast Louisiana. Going to be stopping off in Tangipahoa Parish and then up in Washington Parish, Bogachetta State Park, and then there's an RV park in Robert that we're hitting up not in that order, by the way. But got together with folks from Miller's RV to get this done, and then connected with Louisiana Travel Association on top of that to make sure that, you know, keeping it in the state, a little staycation, which, by the way, is an option every single summer, or you still got time to, if you know, before the kids are back at school, wanted to hit the road for an extended weekend, wanted to pull up I don't know, a multi-day trip. There are so many different great venues, so many different great places to pull off that 3-day weekend, 4-day weekend in Louisiana, and the Louisiana Travel Association is here for it. We will be live at their summit at the end of August. That's going to be coming to you from Lake Charles. But as for now, if you want to follow along as we explore a little bit of the state, it'll be Brian's Big Adventure this weekend, courtesy of Miller's RV and the Louisiana Travel Association. Quick break. We got a lot of sports to cover next. You got Court TV today?
I do. The Idaho serial killer is getting sentenced today.
Yep.
So I'm going to double duty that, and then I got to go to Thibodeau. Got to go to Thibodeau this afternoon.
Okay. Yeah. What time this afternoon in Thibodeau?
1:30ish.
If you were stopping off to get the Gonzales or Prairieville Smalls.
Oh, thank you, Brian.
Yeah. They had Smalls in for Foodie Friday this Friday.
I was thinking about it. I still love a small cider.
Yeah. Well, can you can face them again? I figure enough time has passed, and that's
I destroyed a massive
one combo.
I destroyed a massive quantity of them.
Dude, their strawberry swirl milkshake though.
Mm.
Went to get one the other night. Oh my goodness.
My not to go into my gastric system, but my stomach has been a little queasy lately because of the medicines I'm taking. So,
Oh yeah, milkshake's probably the last thing on your mind. What you know?
so I was fostering I was fostering a doodle named Shadow. Shadow grabbed Fisher's sock. I tried to get the sock. Shadow, who could not be a sweeter dog, bit the shit out of me.
Well, that's
And
what sweet dogs do, Franz. They bite people.
At first I was like manning up and being like, I'll just put a Band-Aid on it. And then later it was urgent care. Then later from urgent care it was the emergency room. And then the emergency room was basically sent me to an ortho on Monday. And the orthopedist was like, we need to have emergency surgery. You have an open fracture and a dog bite. And apparently that's like the perfect storm of infection and to lose your finger. So now like Wolverine, I have 2 rods like coming out of my finger right now. It's great.
And your first thought was, I'll just patch it up.
I was not going to go to the hospital. It was my son's mother, in fact, that looked at it and said, yeah, you may want to go to urgent care.
Yikes.
I've never lost a nail before. I don't have a nail anymore. It's gone.
Man.
The ER nurses and doctor love a guy that fosters a dog. Just saying.
Okay.
Now, look.
Oh, wait, did you go to the ER or did you go to urgent care?
I went to both.
Okay.
Mid-City ER, shout out to those people. Now, look, it's not like a strip club. I know that they weren't in love with me.
Right.
But they were like, oh, you were fostering a dog? That's so sweet. You got such a big heart. And look, you're just big and dumb, and you got this big, like, injury on your thumb. Oh, it's great. It was great.
Push pause for a minute. 6:15 to Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. We're getting to attorney Franz Borghardt here. About 10 minutes from right now for a little legally served. Before we do, though, it is sports time around these here parts. And for the Saints, training camp begins today. Everybody showed up yesterday. They get to work today. New head coach Kellen Moore is the biggest storyline here. Retirement of quarterback Derek Carr, also a storyline here. That means everything's going to be new. Everything's going to be fresh in New Orleans. GM Mickey Loomis says there's always an opportunity to be successful.
We're trying to win every game. I don't look at it as a rebuild, even though you might say, we got a lot of developing positions of development, I should say. A lot of young players that, we want to develop, and I'm excited about that.
Battle of starting quarterback obviously is going to be the biggest headline along the way between it's a three-way fight right now, but I think most of us think it's a two-way fight. Jake Hayner, Spencer Rattler, and Tyler Shuck. Kellen Moore says he's going to try and give an equal opportunity to compete.
The physical stuff is obviously relevant. You want to see that they have the physical tools, which I think all these guys do. They'll knock that out of the park. I think as we go through this process, it's really about the operation, the decision-making, and the consistency.
Moore and Loomis both talked about the revamped offensive and defensive line units putting on the pads for the first time. The Saints selected tackle Kelvin Banks, 9th overall, moved former first-round pick Talia Sifuaga to right tackle, and then moved Trevor Penning to left guard, getting him away from tackle. We all thank them for that. Loomis eager to see how the group plays out.
We've got some moving pieces there, but I think we believe that we've got a lot of talent there, and this could be a really, really good offensive line and can be a strength of our team. How long that takes, we'll see.
Now, offensive and defensive lines might be strengths, but there's so many different question marks, and you can add one more to the mix, as yesterday, Tyrann Mathieu announced he's retiring from the NFL. Honey Badger's hanging it up. So the Saints probably, I believe I read they're going to go out and try to sign a veteran safety to replace Mathieu after he announced his retirement. But that is going to be a glaring hole until they get it filled. Oh, speaking of retirements from the NFL, a former New Orleans Saints tight end, Jimmy Graham, announced that he's officially retiring as well yesterday. I mean, he's not playing for the Saints right now, so it doesn't affect the Hoodats, but it is kind of monumental. Graham played so well while he was in New Orleans. But Saints camp officially underway today. Meanwhile, the Southern Jaguars picked themselves up one heck of a running back. Former LSU running back Trey Holly was at Southern's practice yesterday evening, I should say. Didn't practice while media was in attendance. Coach Terrence Graves, who is starting off his second season over at Southern, told reporters that Holly enrolled in school at Southern, is currently with the football program. Now, y'all remember Trey Holly, but he is, as an LSU Tiger, but he's been on the shelf because of pending charges that have spilled over for more than 2 years. In fact, Franz, we needed to do this as a legally served at some point because he was accused of a whole bunch of things, including shooting somebody. And then charge after charge after charge was dropped. And then they just keep pushing back court dates for every reason under the sun. Meanwhile, Trey Holly's just sitting there on the shelf, not able to get to work at what he does. And now he's transferred out and moved across town. He's currently awaiting trial for a felony count of illegal use of a weapon or dangerous instrumentality. That's the only count that's left after everything else that was flung at him. It's a baffling story. And it's really, It's frustrating from all ends. It's a whole justice delayed sort of thing. There was a shooting in Union Parish. It was over a year ago. I can't remember if it was 2023 or early 2024, but Holly was cleared of just about everything very, very quickly, and still there he sits like a gym sock on a shower rod. Coming up on 620 at Talk 107.3 FM WBRP, we're going to check in with the Fox Business Report. I will give you a look at traffic, and then we will dive right in to Legally Served. That's coming up next. We got Franz Borghardt in studio.
Good morning, Anna Haldane. I didn't want that Haldane being feeling like she was left out.
My mom's watching this morning.
She is.
Awesome. Good morning, Mom.
This advocate asked, didn't Ozzy have a farewell concert recently? I wonder if he knew. Byron says you can't question his commitment. When he does a farewell show, he really follows through with the farewell.
Too soon,
July,
Byron.
July 5th was the farewell show.
Yeah.
So.
Man.
That's good stuff. All right, let's head on back to the traffic center, see what we got going on. There is a stalled vehicle on I-110 northbound right near Main Street. It was posted up on the board right around an hour ago. BRPD letting us know about that one. So it's not obstructing anything. There are no delays as a result of it, but since it's out there, I'll let you know about it. Well, meanwhile, flipping around 110 southbound's looking great. I-12 westbound coming in from Denham Springs or Livingston Parish or points beyond for that matter, looking great right now. No real volume built up, nothing going on there. 10 westbound coming in from Ascension Equally wonderful, as is 10 eastbound coming in from West Baton Rouge Parish. I'm looking at surface streets. I'm not seeing anything at all on the big board. So no accidents to report surface street wise. Let's keep it that way. That's your look at traffic from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center. Coming up tonight on the Discovery Channel, Expedition Unknown Shark Files at 7 p.m. 8 o'clock, it's Expedition X, the Malpelo monster shark. And then at 9 p.m., Alien Sharks, Death Down Under. That features Mr. Forrest Galante, who's going to join us at 8:15. Right now, though, it's time for Legally Served. What'd you say, Franz?
No more tears. No more tears.
Talk about Ozzy.
Dude.
Passing of a legend.
Dude
man.
had a good run.
You know, earlier in the week, we lost Theo Huxtable.
Drowning in Costa Rica.
I know.
Worth it?
Pulled under by the rip current. Yep.
That's a shame. People are dropping like flies.
Yeah.
So, Brian, what's the definition of a myth? When you hear the word myth, something's a myth. What do you mean?
A story that is based off of previous stories.
Or a widely held but false belief or idea. Both are accurate. Both are accurate.
Uh-huh.
A traditional story, especially one concerning the early history of a people or explaining some natural or social phenomenon.
See, that's my definition. A story based off of previous stories.
And typically involving supernatural beings or events.
Okay.
Both are accurate.
Yeah.
So when our governor, in response to a Joe Rogan podcast, and there's more to it, right? But when our governor, in response to a Joe Rogan podcast, says that the separation of church and state is a myth,
yes,
there's some layers there. There's some layers.
I don't know which side I'm on this one.
Which one do you want to be on?
I tell you what. Do you have a coin?
I'll take Jeff's spot.
Okay.
I'll argue for Jeff for the first round.
Okay. Then I will argue against the governor's take on this side, and maybe we'll flip it the next segment. Who knows? But as for right now, well, we only got 3 minutes till break. But let's go ahead and start off with this. The First Amendment of the Constitution says there will not be the establishment of a church. How could you say that separation of church and state is a myth when it says right there in the First Amendment a church cannot be established?
Well, I mean, we have that, but have we ever really followed it? Pull out some cash. What's on the back of our cash?
In God we trust.
Yeah. Some of our most famous documents, they got God laced all in there.
So our Pledge of Allegiance, I believe you're probably going to mention as well. Yeah. Which someone will probably say that was added in later on.
I mean, but still.
But we adopted it.
Right. It's a separation of church and state, sort of.
Okay. When you say in God we trust, is that the establishment of a church?
Well, the Establishment Clause has two parts. And when we talk about the 10 Commandments, and again, I'm arguing for Jeff Landry's position about having 10 Commandments in the schoolroom, and it almost pains me to say that, in the schoolroom, and on top of that the separation is a myth. The first question is are the 10 Commandments actually a religious document at this point? Are they historical?
So I think the answer to that is yes.
Right. They're both.
Are they a religious document or are they historical? Were they the first written set of established laws?
Right. They're one of the first ones. So there's that. So from an educational standpoint, there's value there. Number two, is the 10 Commandments being posted? First of all, I mean, in our day-to-day lives, in our municipalities, our parish, in our state government, in our federal government, do we really separate God from what we do?
Meaning how?
I mean, we sometimes allow moments of prayer and silence.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we say pledges of allegiance that include references to God. I mean, it's his comment that it's a myth isn't inaccurate. It is at best, it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek, like, hey, we separate church and state. Wink.
So let me give the counter argument. We only got 20 seconds till break here, and that is the more you embrace the idea that that's a myth, the more you allow the church to invade the state. The more you allow the church to invade the state, you chip away.
Erode
at the establishment clause. That's where we're going to push pause, though. ABC News coming your way right now, followed by local news, traffic, and weather. He's Franz Borghardt. We continue next. Oh, by the way, you didn't post it yesterday. Wait, what? You didn't post it yesterday. No, I asked you to post it. Well, let's get his permission first since he's here. Yeah.
What do we?
Go around the other side.
Oh.
That's going up. You good with that? Are you okay with it?
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to.
I know. Haggai will be next. And then Rocco after that.
The audio on that?
It was from last Thursday.
Oh.
John found it.
That is so on point.
So we would have done this weeks ago, but we talk about such serious shit all the time. I didn't want you talking about rape or something.
Right. No, that's beautiful.
So yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You're gonna have some fun with that one.
Oh, happy birthday in July.
So as soon as the show's over, that's going up.
That's awesome.
All right.
Thank you. I'll be sharing that. It'll get shared.
Oh, I know. It's gonna be yeah. By those who love and those who hate.
What do we call that? It's AI generated, right? But what's it called?
I just AI baby.
Yeah.
But that's what it's known as, and yeah, dude, it's so
Baby
beautiful.
AI, yeah.
It's beautiful.
And then it's crazy. Some of the prompts I put in was like, make this an AI baby generated, whatever. Make baby a AI podcast or whatever. And it was you holding a baby. And that's what kept popping up. And I'm like, man, but it's so realistic to where it's like, if you didn't know any better, Franz is in studio with a baby. Like, it's insane.
Is Christy in this morning? Good morning, Christy. Where you at?
That is so beautiful. It just made my day. It's like all the sadness I had inside me, it's gone.
Yeah, man.
It's just. Brian's was pretty good when he made it. When y'all made his, Brian's was very good. We need to get a Rocco one.
Moons too, man. Moons was like,
Yeah.
That was wild.
Moons was great. Moon with the curly hair was awesome.
It's so crazy.
In reference to the fractured pinned finger,
Mhm.
all I got to say is, thank goodness it wasn't my middle finger. That would really
It would
be-
stick out. It would stick out.
Oof.
I mean, I feel like I got the.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Big old foam finger. So you're gonna be in court in Thibodeau? Are you actually trying a case?
I have a hearing set, but I think it's going to get, because in part of this, I've been out of pocket the last couple days.
You can't have performance enhancing drugs.
The client prefers you not to be taking pain blocking medicine.
Yeah.
And while
Anything
I'm pretty
good?
yeah, to the point where I'm concerned about it.
Okay.
But I got to tell you, don't sleep on Tylenol. Extra strength Tylenol will make some pain relief. I mean, it's
take-
not like hydrocodone, but I mean,
well, I take arthritis strength Tylenol and it's nothing.
okay. Well, are you like taking 10 of them and chewing them, or
4.
where's your arthritis? Back?
Degenerative discs in the lower back.
In the beginning, it was
And my knees. I have arthritic knees.
throbbing pain. Was the initial, and then you have to hold it in certain, like if you want to go to sleep, you have to have it elevated above your heart. There's a lot of stuff going on here. Like 2 metal pins like Wolverine,
Okay.
not made of adamantium. My son, my 9-year-old, was excited about that. They're not retractable, son. Sorry. Did she announce? What's her name? That's Liz. Never mind. I thought it was your. What's her name? Who you is going to announce? Oh, really? Yes. Good turn, bad turn. Weird turn.
It's not finalized yet. It's
Okay, we'll wait. Oh, got it. Hmm. Oh, yeah, good for her. Not McDonald. No. Hmm. Curveball. Let's see what I did there.
.637 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Gonna be a long day for yours truly because it's gonna go into the night. This evening, Baton Rouge Children's Advocacy Center invites you to Low Bears Casino for the 19th annual Celebrity Waiter event. Come out and support me, and I will hopefully be collecting as many tips as possible for a great cause and some bragging rights as well because we got some others in the building that are doing this. Alondra's in it, Hunt is in it, and I'm in it, and there's a whole stack of celebrity waiters coming up tonight at Low Bears. Doors open at 6:30 p.m. For registration and a silent auction. For more information, visit BatonRougeCAC.org.
If I go,
Yeah.
if I buy the ticket to get the ride, and I want to be in your table section,
Yeah.
is that a thing,
Yeah.
or is it first come, first serve?
So I don't know if they get we have a table,
Right.
but I don't know if they gave all the seats out to the table.
Okay.
Because they're divvied up between me, Hunt, and Alondra. So
Got it.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, if it would just please me for somebody to serve me, a
Yes.
certain person to serve me.
Yes, I
Please.
Uh-huh.
It would please me.
Separation of church and state. Where we're
flipping it?
we're left off. Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet, because I do want to ask, like, incrementally, is this the kind of thing that can be eroded incrementally? Because if you allow for the 10 Commandments to be posted on the wall, what's next?
Well, the problem is the 10 Commandments posted without context. It doesn't specify what God, right? So is he really promoting? Is the state promoting a particular monotheistic religion? I mean, your God might be a Judeo-Christian God, It might
The
be
Ten Commandments
Allah.
are Judeo-Christian.
Right.
So,
By the way, Muslims
Mhm.
are acknowledge the Ten Commandments.
Mhm.
Same God.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, like, what if you worship the Dark Lord, Satan? You're a Satanist. You're a Satan worshiper.
well, Ozzy Osbourne just died. There you
Actually,
go.
you know,
The
he was
Dark
a member.
Prince.
I did some deep diving on this. He's a member of the Church of England. So
Really?
he was in fact a Christian.
Really?
Yeah. The Black Sabbath thing.
Yeah,
was,
Black Sabbath,
was
the Dark Prince. they
stage
eat the bat.
performance. He was in fact identified as a Christian.
Mm.
Point is, just because you think something doesn't mean it necessarily. And look, at the end of the day, aren't the values found in the Ten Commandments worth the trade-off of that erosion?
If you start rationalizing what the value is, what's the old adage? I can't remember who said it. I'm breaking on attribution here, but anyone who's willing to sacrifice freedom for protection deserves neither.
Right.
Same thing here.
Right. The problem is some of the commandments are just good old pieces of advice for life.
Yeah.
Thou shalt not steal.
Mhm.
Thou shalt not covet your neighbor's stuff.
Right.
Don't diddle your neighbor's wife. Don't kill.
Right. No, these are all
these
good
are
things.
good. Just now, the problem we get into.
You do have a problem with number one, though.
Yeah, the problem is some of them are very much. Yeah, I'm the only God.
I am the Lord thy God. Thou shalt put no God before me.
No false idols.
That one's first and foremost. Okay.
Can you imagine?
So,
But can't you imagine what the world would look like if we didn't have false idols? Like materialism.
Mhm.
Like, isn't that worth it? Shouldn't our kids be educated on the value of not having golden calves in their lives?
but we don't get to determine that because we don't live in a theocracy.
But
we don't get to determine what is and is not a golden calf
but
versus what is and is not.
But Governor Landry's statement that this is all a myth, isn't he accurate?
Mm.
Don't we kind of have a very disingenuous separation of church and state that's convenient when it's convenient? Like, isn't he right that it's kind of a myth that our founding fathers, they were very much like the foundations have God kind of in there?
Mm. But we've also seen a wall of separation built over time. Started with Thomas Jefferson and has built since then. And we've seen time and time again where every time you let that wall erode just a little bit, it's taken over. It's taken over where you run down the path of adopting the theocracy from here and
Well,
there.
the other good argument for the governor is just posting something doesn't necessarily, like, you could have a poster of the food group pyramid. Is it not? I hear it's no longer a pyramid.
Food pyramid?
Yeah, you know the food pyramid.
Yeah.
When you were growing up and I was growing up, it's
Yeah.
no longer a pyramid anymore. It's something else. Point is, doesn't mean it's going to educate anybody. Doesn't mean it's going to actually draw attention to itself. It's you know.
Okay, well then let me flip that on its ear. If it's not going to educate anybody, why put it up there?
That's a good point.
But if it is going to educate someone, what's the line between education
So
and
the
indoctrination?
question is the separation of church and state violated by putting a poster up or a framed hang up? And I just, all right, I can't do this anymore. I got to flip it.
Okay.
All right, we're going to flip sides.
We're going to flip sides.
We're going to
Okay.
flip sides.
All right.
Okay, so not only was it asinine that he said that the separation of church and state was a myth, but on top of that, doubling down on that, when he became governor, he swore under oath to uphold the laws of the state of Louisiana and the Constitution.
Interesting. He swore on what?
I don't know.
A Bible.
All right.
He swore on a Bible to uphold the laws of the
I
state
just
and the
don't like-
Constitution.
I
So
don't like the head
you
of our-
tell me, you want to slide to like a conspiracy. You tell me where that line has already been whittled away, where that line has already been eroded if you're swearing on a Bible. And you talk about how, it's built into the Constitution. The framers of the Constitution, our forefathers, went to great lengths to put into the Constitution exactly what they wanted. They had their own beliefs
So
all over the place. What's in the Constitution is very specific.
what's troubling, and he is a lawyer,
Mhm.
so he should know better. What's troubling is we've litigated this heavily. Our United States Supreme Court has had this case
Many, many times.
right
Over
So-
many, many different
So
arguments.
the myth to me is the belief that you're going to spend a whole bunch of money making a law that you know is patently unconstitutional just so it can be declared unconstitutional. The myth to me is doing all that so that you can bring it back to the Supreme Court in a hope that you can get some kind of law change. And I get this is the Supreme Court that might do it, but this has been decided. This has been decided.
Has it been argued from all the right angles yet, though?
Well,
the Supreme Court has shot it down on numerous occasions, mostly because of it's argued from the religious perspective and not the legal perspective. When it comes to the Ten Commandments, as a set of written laws, how is that not a legal perspective or an educational perspective?
I think in Bizarro World, where I was arguing on behalf of Governor Landry, I think we hit the nail on the head, so to speak. The problem is it's not entirely law. I mean, some of the commandments are very much don't kill. Well, that's no different than what we have in our law, right?
We in history class, in world history class, you studied the Crusades at one point, correct?
Right.
Okay. When you study the Crusades, you study them as in they happened. Were the Crusades good or were the Crusades bad?
I mean, that's very much a perspective thing.
Isn't it, though?
Yeah.
So if you were under the perspective that the Crusades were good, are you not preaching evangelization in all forms and fashion? And if you flip the script on that and talk about, the Crusades of evangelization at the tip of a spear, then isn't that an anti-Christian standpoint and you are disestablishing religion?
And let me help you. Because Galen writes in our chat thread, the exact phrase separation of church and state does not appear. You like this argument. You like this one.
Right.
It's not in the United States Constitution. However, allow me to retort. The United States Constitution has a establishment clause and a free exercise clause. And our courts, our highest court has said that there is that separation by nature of the establishment clause. We are not going to establish a religion as a government, no government entity, and free exercise. I can't do anything to stop you as long as your religion doesn't hurt anybody, right? As long as you're not like, hey, I'm giving a blood oath by killing my son on an altar. Oh, wait. Yeah. So my point is. He didn't. God called it off the last minute.
An awkward walk home.
I mean, if you read the story, I think he was on board. The kid was on board.
Do you?
I think Abraham's about to kill his own son, and like the kid's on board.
I don't.
Like what's gangster is Abraham tells the kid, go get some wood.
Yeah.
Go get some. Sorry.
Back on point.
I digress.
Back on point. We got to get if you can't have the 10 Commandments on the wall, what else can't you have? Can a teacher wear a crucifix? Here, I'm pulling out there. Okay, boom. Can that be on the? If I'm a teacher, can I have my cross on the outside of my shirt there?
So I think that's different. A symbol is not the same thing as a codified. I mean, and I say codified because it's like etched on tablets.
I know, but I'm about to put you back on Jeff Landry's side, so
okay,
be careful.
Go for it.
Okay. Can I have this crucifix if I'm teaching in a class?
I think you can.
And the reason I can is
because you have
free exercise thereof.
Right.
However, as the teacher, I'm the leader of that classroom.
Right.
So the same way if I put something on the wall, if I put something on my chest, I'm thereby telling the class, this is who you need to follow. You're following me, I follow him.
So where I struggle with
him with a capital H.
Yeah. Where I struggle with this one, and you know this, is I'm a big fan of the Ten Commandments.
Huh?
In fact, while I haven't always followed them,
practiced a good number of them.
Yeah, I haven't always practiced a good number of them. Good thing about the Catholic Church, we get mulligans.
We do.
We get forgiveness. I'm a big fan of them, and I cannot help but embrace the argument that if we embrace the principles of the Ten Commandments, we would maybe have a better world. Maybe have a little bit of better world.
Yes. That was Jeff Landry's argument from the start.
And in fact, if you go a little deeper, not to deep dive, if you go a little bit deeper, there's actually in the Judeo-Christian Bible, there's actually more than just 10 commandments. There's the granddaddy of them. I think it's in Leviticus. But there's the granddaddy of them. Do unto others as you'd have done to yourself. Love thy neighbor.
Golden rule, yes.
Yeah, the golden rule. It's a good one.
Yeah. No,
That's a really good one.
Mm-hmm.
However, the price of liberty sometimes is, while we are free, we don't always get everything we want in that freedom. And that separation, that free exercise, that Establishment Clause safeguards us from, yeah, it's easy when a Roman Catholic governor wants the Ten Commandments up there. It's easy for that governor. But let's say we had a satanic worshiping governor that wanted Satan's Ten Commandments up on the
Which
board.
they have, by the way.
That's why I referenced it. I know eerily more about the satanic rituals than I really should.
There's a lot of YouTube rabbit holes.
There really is. Exorcism is a fascination.
Gross.
So my point is it's fine when it's a warm and fuzzy religion, but when it's not a warm and fuzzy religion, be careful what you wish
Well,
for.
let me rephrase that and lock it out with this. It's fine when it's your religion, but when it's somebody else's, things change. He's Franz Borghardt. We do Legally Served every week. Always appreciate you.
Bye,
brother.
guys.
Later on, 6:50. Here's your money now.
John, do me a favor. Text me that link when you post it.
Oh, we picked the wrong time. Maybe 3 seconds. UPS. Okay. Okay. That's where all of his court TV. Franz! Coffee!
But yeah, like I think even when you're talking like separation between church and state, like my kids are raised in a Christian home, right? So when they go to school and teachers got like a voodoo doll, and like when it's like the opposite, you know what I mean? Where it's like, oh well, there's freedom of religion, right? So it's like there. I could see where Franz was saying like the dangers of that, like yeah,
Well, I mean,
that,
so,
that division, you know what I mean? Like that separation of church and state. It's like
but even within Christianity, you start to break it down. As a Catholic,
yeah,
I believe the Eucharist is the body, blood, soul, and divinity of Jesus Christ.
right.
A
And
lot
as a
of
Baptist, yeah, I would.
you
like,
would
agree,
not,
right?
So, who gets
So
to be right on
already-
that front?
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
What was the work by Saint Augustine? The City of God. There's Catholic teachings that predate America that separate this out to where you have your earthly city and your city of God.
Right.
So as a Catholic, we listen to the saints every now and then.
Yeah.
They were some pretty smart folks.
Yeah. They're on to something good there.
And it is, we do not pray to them,
Right.
as a lot of people say we do, but we do listen to them from time to time.
Yeah. But no, and like, so, yeah, I think like Franz, like you guys were saying, like, what happens when it's the opposite? When it's great when, like, you know what I mean? Like you said, like if you're wearing a crucifix, you're wearing a cross around your neck, it's one thing. But then, like, what when it's the opposite and the teacher's like got like the voodoo doll in the corner and like all these different things, and it's like, I don't know. Yeah, but oof. But yeah, it's. And now it's like taking a step further because now, like, in public school, I mean, yeah, teachers like.
Well, this
Have
is why I
tattoos,
bust
you know?
my ass and my
Yeah.
wife busts her ass
Yeah.
so that we send our kids to Catholic school.
Yeah,
We want them to have a Catholic upbringing.
Right.
That's part of our vows of marriage is to raise our kids in the Catholic Church.
yeah.
Hey, can you get 4, 5, and 6, please? 6:55, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Thanks again to attorney Franz Borghardt for popping in for Legally Served. That's fun, flipping the script on that, arguing one way and then turning around and then arguing the other. That was, I don't know, did it all get lost in the wash on the way out? I don't know, but I know we had a good time with it. Before we dive back into our next news story, I want to remind you about the folks over at Neurojust, Neurojust, neurojust.com. If you or a family member or someone you know is suffering from anxiety and depression, and the traditional, either the sit down, the face-to-face therapy is not the right answer for them, give Neurojust a look. If you feel like your therapist has gone to the prescription card way too quickly, give neurojust.com a look. If the prescription you were given, if you don't like the way the drugs make you feel, if you feel like there's an addiction coming on, if you feel like there's diminishing returns and it's wearing off and it just doesn't work, neurojust.com. What does Neurojust do when it comes to battling anxiety and depression? It's a treatment called transcranial magnetic stimulation, and it's gaining in popularity all around the country right now. It is FDA approved. You'll find it in a lot of the bigger cities around. You'll find it in Miami. You'll find it in Atlanta. You'll find it you'll find it in Baton Rouge as well, as Neurojust has brought this here. FDA approved non-invasive treatment using magnetic pulses to stimulate areas of the brain involved in mood regulation. And they've got the receipts to back it up, y'all. 70 to 80% do show a response to TMS therapy. 60 to 70% remission rates for TMS therapy. Check it out at neurojust.com. Nothing wrong with sitting down with somebody and talking things out, but that's not for everybody. Neurojust.com. Hopefully it's not coming over the air. All right. Well, while they cut the grass right outside my window, let's continue. We now have regulations in place for earned wage access. Louisiana is the 11th state to put regulations in place for earned wage access. You heard the story in our news at the bottom of the hour. This allows a worker to access wages earned prior to their payday. Vinny St. Blanc is a representative from Franklin, Louisiana. I actually met him just before the session, right before the session started. He became my new bestie. He's awesome. He authored the Louisiana Earned Wage Access Services Act.
If you're in healthcare and you're a nurse and you get paid maybe every 2 weeks and stuff, and your kid breaks his arm or has something, you can go right to EWA. It's like an ATM.
Like getting an advance. St. Blanc says about 80,000 workers in Louisiana have access to EWA services, allowing a worker to access the money for the hours they work and don't have to wait until payday. He says this is a great feature for those who encounter an emergency and need money. And, oh, by the way, there is a small fee tacked on the back end.
So we put in guardrails to the program that wasn't in before. We did something for the working people.
Now, as I understand it, it's for hours worked, but not to payday yet. Like, let's say you get paid every other week, okay? And you're 1 week in and you want access to those wages that you already worked. Not the week you haven't worked yet, but to the week you worked. That's where this kicks in. It's been around for the last decade. St. Blanc says his legislation puts in place guarantees that Louisiana workers do have protections in place that they can access those earned wages. He says if your employer doesn't offer this service, there are third-party providers who do.
You can Google EWA, get you one of the providers, and you can work it out with them and see what their requirements are.
I don't know. I think it's kind of a cool program. It's a good idea. St. Blanc says now that there are guardrails in place for EWA, he's hoping more and more employers will offer it and workers will be able to take advantage of it. And this is the hard part, right? Getting it through. There you go. Getting it through to where your individual employers can A, know that it's coming, B, afford it, and C, make sure that they're able to take care of their workers the way that they would like to. So we'll continue to follow it as it moves along. Right now, we're going to pivot over to news, traffic, weather. Hour 2 is next.
Yeah, when I was at Northern, they offered daily pay, and that was basically the same concept. Like you're able to kind of get that advance.
I wouldn't want daily pay. That would be a taxing nightmare.
Oh yeah. Oh, it was because you.
Did they pull your taxes out daily?
Yeah.
They pulled them out?
What's that?
Your taxes, or did you have to handle your taxes?
No, they do it.
Okay.
Yeah, but you were basically allowed to get that advance, but then it kind of screwed you over in the long run because it's like if you get paid bi-weekly,
Yeah.
and you're taking out money from the previous week you worked, you're kind of I don't know. It's great, it's an option, but it can kind of put you in a bind too.
All right, here we go. 7:05, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Hour 2 coming your way right now. We got a stacked up hour, y'all. An education-based hour. Patrick Martin from EBR School Board is going to join us. We got Ronnie Morris from Bessie going to be in with us. Adonica Duggan from Baton Rouge Alliance for Students. Rip Roar in second hour, to be sure. And we do have one eye on that third hour as well, because coming up tonight on the Discovery Channel, alien sharks, death down under. John, did you know that there are venomous sharks?
No, I did not.
Well,
But
you're
that's
about
what
to
Shark
learn.
Week is for, right?
Right. You're about to learn about that. And by the way, I recorded this conversation with Forrest Galante yesterday, and first words out of my mouth were, these titles are a little bit overboard. Death Down Under, Florida's Death Beach. And, I mean, this guy's he's a wildlife biologist, right?
Yeah.
He's an actual scientist,
Right.
you know? And he's like, we don't make the titles, man. We just do the work. And I'm like, hey, respect it. Respect it. But alien sharks tonight, and then Friday will be Florida's Death Beach. And then after Shark Week is over, Forrest is coming back for another show called Animals on Drugs. And that is
Okay.
exactly what you think it is, and nothing of what you think it is.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you know, like somebody builds out like let's say you're in the hills of Tennessee, you're in the mountains of Tennessee,
Yeah.
and you've got that bathtub distillery where you're making your own moonshine, and one day a bear walks in. What happens now, right?
It's basically
Yeah.
the premise for Cocaine Bear.
Cocaine Bear is
that's
it?
what
Well,
it was.
okay, and I brought this up with him as well. Is like let's say you're Barry Seal, okay,
Okay.
and you're flying cocaine back from Colombia into Louisiana or over Louisiana into Arkansas,
Yeah.
and you drop those bushels of cocaine into the swamp.
Mm.
How come we didn't have cocaine alligators?
There we go.
Or did we, and we just didn't know about it?
Yeah.
I mean, that's
What are they keeping from us?
yeah,
But maybe it'll
So-
come out in this show.
yeah. Animals on
Like I
drugs
never
next
knew.
week. So, and of course, Restaurant Week as well. The folks from Nino's will be in right now. Top stories and trending. Let's go.
Number 5.
Coca-Cola said Tuesday they're going to add a cane sugar version of their trademark product to the U.S. lineup this fall, which confirms a recent announcement by President Trump that they were moving to cane sugar. Trump said in a social media post last week Coca-Cola had agreed to use real cane sugar. What does this mean for Louisiana and our sugarcane farmers? We're going to talk about it tomorrow with Ag Commissioner Dr. Mike Strain.
Number 4.
West Feliciana Parish President Kenny Haver was found guilty of simple battery for hitting another man in the face. According to Chuck Spillman, Havard assaulted him before a parish council meeting in December. Now, according to the story, Havard walked right up and punched him in the face. But these two had beef going back and forth for some time. So it wasn't like it was sparked out of nothing. That being said, though, you don't just walk up and pop a guy. Come on.
Number 3.
I've always liked Kenny Havard, too. Like West Feliciana during COVID, like they had like a wall around their parish, and they were just doing well, plugging along. Just, hey, let us do our own thing. And I was like, all right, y'all do your own thing. Number 3 takes us up to St. Francisville, where Hood Container Corporation, they're actually a family-owned packaging and paper company out of Atlanta, but they're the owners of the paper mill up there in St. Francisville. Yesterday, they announced a $118.9 million investment to modernize that legacy paper mill.
Number 2.
One person died in a shooting at, I got to read you from the report, although, here we go. One person died in a shooting at Cathedral Drive and Wyandotte Street Tuesday evening, BRPD officials confirmed. According to BRPD, officers were dispatched to the 3700 block of Cathedral Drive, which I don't think is anywhere near Wyandotte, but that's neither here nor there. This happened around 6:30 p.m. yesterday when they found a man with multiple gunshot wounds. First responders tried to render aid, but then man did die.
Number 1.
We've got another yellow X on the hurricane map. As of right now, it's a 10% chance of becoming a named storm. Here's what we're looking at here. Very similar to what was out there, I guess a little bit at the beginning of last week. It's sitting off the coast of Florida, and it's going to make its way westward over Florida into the Gulf of Mexico. It is a trough of low pressure near the southeastern United States coast, producing disorganized showers and thunderstorms. Over the next day or two, is forecast to move west-southwest into the Gulf, where some slow development is possible. By the weekend, the system is likely to move inland which would end its chances of becoming a name storm. But if it continues to drift westward in the Gulf of Mexico without going back north again, that's where your possibilities come in. So it's on the board. We tell you about it.
Well, a national movement to change school start times is gaining momentum as sleep experts highlight the crisis of student sleep deprivation.
So this is the topic of conversation in our next segment.
Yes.
Patrick Martin from the school board will be in for that. There's a pilot program right here in Baton Rouge that's going to tackle that or take that on this school year. So what, 3 weeks from right now? Are they really that close?
I know.
Less than 3 weeks?
Oof. It's summer, man.
No, 2 weeks.
Closer than that.
2 weeks from tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof, so close. Hey, President Donald Trump announced a major trade deal with Japan yesterday that involves a $500 billion investment in the U.S. from Japan and 15% tariffs on goods coming in.
Again, we cannot look at tariffs as one blanket thing. When you break it down country by country, deal by deal, negotiation by negotiation, this one actually seems like a really good one. If Japan is making more investments here in America, that's I'll take that. The 15% tariff, okay, whatever. But does that $500 billion, that $500+ billion mean more American jobs?
Yeah.
That's the big thing right here. So,
absolutely.
Awesome.
Indeed. Well, tragic news coming out of the music industry. Ozzy Osbourne passed away yesterday. He was 76 years old.
So he had a farewell concert on July 5th.
He did.
And
back to the beginning.
I mean, that's pretty accurate.
Concert. Yeah.
To say farewell on the 5th and then pass, 18 days later, less than 3 weeks later. So, yep. I know all the rock stations all over the place. Eagle did a whole tribute yesterday afternoon.
Yeah.
Social media is flooded with it right now. So.
Yeah, and then at that concert, they raised $190 million. It all went to charity.
Okay.
Yeah. Apparently, he didn't take any money home from that gig. So.
All right.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, it was what it was, but
yeah. Jam-packed with some.
Oh yeah.
Tributes, man.
Oh, I would imagine so. 712 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Before we take our break, I want to remind you about the folks at Vex European. Vinny and his team are ready and waiting for you. Head on over to vexeuropean.com to get yourself started right there, okay? What are you going to find at vexeuropean.com? You're going to find out exactly what Vinny does. They specialize in European vehicles. Whether you drive an Audi, a BMW, or Mercedes, a Jaguar, a Land Rover. Oh, Jaguar especially, since the dealership just closed down, right? Hit up vexeuropean.com and learn a little bit more about them and what they do. In fact, you learn a little bit more about their reputation because they link you right to their reviews. In fact, let's go ahead and pull one up here. What have we got? Let me scroll down. Get an older one here. I read the new ones way too often. How about John, 10 months ago, says, great place for European car service, fast, friendly, and they know their stuff. Knowing their stuff is the key right here. They specialize in each make of vehicle. When you see that drop-down tab with the vehicles, when you hit Mercedes-Benz, you're getting a Mercedes-Benz tech. When you hit Jaguar, you're getting a Jaguar tech. So hit up the website, hit up the appointments tab, and visit Vinny and his team over at vexeuropean.com. Patrick, you ready? Come on in, man. And their rotary members in Ascension. But You want to start with the pilot program, and then, or do you want to dispense with the contract stuff earlier? Um. Doesn't sound like it. It's fine. 716 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. We are almost back to school time here. It's getting very, very close. I want to welcome back to the show Patrick Martin from the school board. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on this morning, Brian.
Not glad to have you on. This is what, it's 2 weeks from tomorrow, right?
Yes, indeed.
So fast.
August 7th.
Hey, can you answer me a question? Why do we start the school year in the middle of a week? Why don't we start fresh on a Monday?
The teachers come back on that Monday, and they like to have their full summer vacation as well with their travel plans and their family and whatnot being gone in July. So they have the teachers are in school Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, getting the classrooms ready and stuff like that.
Okay, and then the kids come in on Thursday, but then Thursday, Friday, and it's like boom, you're already done with your first week, and really
Doesn't that good?
Does anything get done?
Yeah, we're easing them into it, right? Nobody wants to like have just a full week. Boom, hey,
Right.
welcome back. Crash.
Yeah.
Get a couple of days to get acclimated to the classroom and whatnot, so you can start fresh with real learning on the Monday.
Fair enough. I want to talk about this pilot program y'all got going, but I got to start off with some news from, I believe this was just a couple days ago. The headline reads, Baton Rouge School Board balks at renewing contracts with nonprofits, Kids Orchestra, and the BRYC, or BRIC.
Yes.
What happened here?
So, well, it's an unfortunate kind of series of coincidences. We had two members who were both strongly supportive of Kids Orchestra and BRIC, who were unfortunately unable to be there at that meeting. And so we had four members who spoke strongly in favor of those programs. We had three members who didn't necessarily speak negatively about those programs, but expressed some concerns about the process. And we're interested in exploring what other options we had. And so we only had 4 votes due to the absence of 2 members to be able to get those passed. So they didn't get passed right away. We're still very optimistic and fairly certain that it'll pass when it comes back up.
What do these organizations provide for the schools?
So Kids Orchestra provides some great music enrichment programs. They run several concerts for kids, primarily in the northern part of the parish. BRIC provides some incredible both ACT prep services as well as kind of college prep services, generally kind of college counseling on steroids, if you will, to really help take kids who either on the cusp of going to college or not and getting them ready to actually go to college, or on the cusp of going to maybe a lower tier college and getting them to where they get a scholarship at a much higher tier college.
Gotcha. All right. Timeline on whether or not they can get done in the future?
That's still being decided by board leadership, when we might bring this back up for another vote. I would anticipate that we'd certainly have discussion of it, maybe a vote at our next committee of the whole meeting, which is a week from tomorrow, I believe. Maybe 2 weeks from tomorrow, I think.
All right. Just, since that was a headline, I figured we would start there.
Sure.
But you got a school year coming up, and for a handful of schools around town, there are going to be different start times.
Correct.
It's, walk us back through the origin of this pilot program and what's going to be done.
So, yeah, sure. So back in the spring, last fall, maybe, I think several folks from the school system, including myself, went up to a conference on later school start times, and learned a whole lot about the research on circadian rhythms and brain science that shows that basically adolescents, not just your teenager, but almost every teenager out there has trouble getting up in the morning, right? I mean, any parents experience that.
Right.
It's not because they're lazy. It's not because they stayed up too late with their phones or whatever. Those don't help. But it's that they're just naturally, their circadian rhythms are shifted from the rest of us to stay up a little bit later and to sleep in a little bit later. So when we try to make them start trying to learn at 7:10 in the morning, which is when our high schools have started here in Louisiana in the past, some of the earliest start times in the country, their brain's not capable of taking anything in.
Mhm.
It's just not. They don't really start functioning well until 8:39. Their brain just doesn't really turn on until then. And any of us who are parents have experienced that. And so what we're going to be doing is piloting a project in 2 high schools and their associated feeder schools, where the high schools will start at 8:50 in the morning. The elementary schools will start a little bit earlier than they do, shifting from 8:20 to or 8:25 to 8 o'clock. And that's going to and schools that have done this across the country have experienced both improved academic outcomes. They've actually experienced a reduction in teenage self-harm. And oddly enough,
Whoa.
yeah.
Expound upon that.
So a lot of kids in public schools have a lot of stressors in their life, right? They may be food insecure. They may have trouble at home. They live in an environment where there's a lot of crime or whatever. And when we put them into a classroom at 7:10 in the morning and tell them, you need to pay attention. Come on, snap out of it. And we make them chronically sleep deprived, right? Because we're telling them you have to be going at 7:10 when your body is telling you don't be awake at that time. That adds to the chronic stress that many of them are already experiencing, and that increases the chances of self-harm. Oddly enough, when in districts that have implemented a broad-scale later start time program, they've seen a reduction in traffic accidents because of the teenagers who are on the road going to school are a little more awake than they were if they're trying to get there at 7:10 in the morning.
Talk about going to school, because if you're pushing back start times and not everybody drives and not everybody takes the bus.
Sure.
What does this do for the parents who would normally drop their kids off on their way to work?
Well, that's why we're piloting it. For some parents, we think it may work out better. For some parents, obviously, that's going to be a struggle. And the pilot program is going to let us tweak those things and see how to respond. In some schools, in some districts that have adopted this, they actually open the schools earlier, as early as 7:10 or whatever, but they don't try to have classes then. They just have study halls and opportunities for kids to recreate or maybe do their athletic practice or something like that in the morning.
Or hit that
instead in the
snooze button
afternoon.
with their head on the school bag.
They don't. That's correct. Some of them do, and
Yeah.
But the key is because the key is that you need to not try to start learning, because regardless of whether they got 5 hours sleep or 8 hours of sleep, their body is not telling them to wake up and get the brain flowing until 8:39.
Yeah. They can be physically present without being mentally active.
Correct.
Glen Oaks High and Capitol High are the 2 high schools that are pushing back to an 8:50 start time. How did they get that lucky draw to be the ones in the pilot program?
Superintendent Cole looked at kind of all of the schools out there, and these 2 were the ones that, 1, we thought could most be improved by the program, and 2, they have a fairly discrete set of feeder programs, so that you could kind of make the whole pilot program relatively self-contained without implementing, without impacting the schools that are not participating in the pilot program.
Oh, wait, but with the pilot program, though, the opposite happens with the elementary schools. They're going to be starting later, correct?
The elementary schools are starting a little earlier. They're going from starting from like 8:25, the elementary schools, to about 8. Okay,
yeah. Elementary schools will start at
That's
8 a.m.
for the transportation overlap.
Right. It started at 8 a.m. and into 3:15 p.m. Okay.
Yep.
So tie in Capitol Elementary with Capitol High. Then you got Glen Oaks High, Glen Oaks Park Elementary, Melrose Elementary, and Marydale Elementary. Those are the ones that are all in the program right now.
That's right.
What kind of, I don't know how to phrase this without making it sound like it's some kind of social experiment, but what kind of key takeaways are we looking for? What kind of benchmarks are we looking for, and how soon? Like, what are we doing to track whether or not this program is working?
Look, we're tracking. I mean, we track the academic performance like we do for all schools all the time, right? And so I think we'll be having a lot of opportunity for parents to provide feedback. Is this working for them? What can we do to make it work better for them? Whether that's have a before school program available, like I said, to let these kids be dropped off earlier. How is it working? What support can we provide for kids? A lot of parents say, "Hey, wait, I need my older kid home before my younger kid gets home so they can watch them.
Right.
And we hear that a lot. You can work through that. And our older kids should not have their education suffer simply because they have child care duties for their younger siblings or something like that. So those are the kind of things we'll be talking to parents about. We'll be seeing how this impacts our teachers, right? Many of our teachers are parents themselves and have to adjust their work schedule with their kids' school schedule like the rest of us do. So we're going to be talking to a lot of people, and then we'll be tracking data, absenteeism, tardyism, and things like that to see how it's going. We certainly hope to have a lot of usable data after just the first year.
Yeah, we're talking with Patrick Martin from the East Baton Rouge School Board about a pilot program they're opening up 2 weeks from tomorrow as school gets back in here in East Baton Rouge Parish. Patrick, this is one that when I first heard about it, could not have been more dead set against it. But the more I read up on it, there's a lot of things that are counterintuitive here. I mean, my initial reaction was going to be if you let school in later, the kids are just going to stay up later.
Right.
But that hasn't been the case in the places where this has been tried.
That's correct.
The other part of this is the reduction in absenteeism, the reduction in truancy. How did that factor into, this whole debate?
Look, we have a problem in East Baton Rouge with kids not showing up to school at all or showing up late. As one of your next guests, Ronnie Morris, will be happy to tell you, he talks to me all the time as a Bessie member saying, hey, Baton Rouge needs to get it together on this tardy problem that we have. And so we really think that the early start times that we have are, again, earliest in the country, 7:10 a.m. for high school, really contributes significantly to that problem. And I think we're going to see some very rapid change in that data with this.
Why? Because how much of it is, kid wakes up. I mean, it's the theme song to Saved by the Bell. Like, you hit the corner just in time to watch the bus fly by.
Right.
Well, the bus flies by and now you're done. You don't have your ride to school anymore. So you are now truant.
That's right.
Like, you start school an hour later. Oh, how's this going to work out with all the bus routes, by the way?
Look, the consultant that the district engaged, who was a speaker at the conference that several of us attended, is kind of got the start because they're a transportation expert. And so we're looking very closely at that. We think this is actually going to ultimately simplify our transportation routes and issues and be a factor that helps us improve, what everybody knows has been a very chaotic transportation system.
We can talk off here about that a lot. We get 2 minutes with Patrick Martin. Well, another part of this, though, is, once all the high schools, assuming this goes to plan,
sure,
and eventually all the high schools are pushed back a little bit, you're talking about pulling buses off the road when morning drive is going on.
Mm-hmm.
Morning drive, quote unquote, morning drive would actually be a little bit earlier than when the buses are out there. If you don't even have kids at school, this is a benefit on the traffic front for sure.
For sure. Absolutely.
So, yeah, I know that's an afterthought and whatnot. That's not even on y'all's plate for this. But the flip side of that is kids got to get out to the bus early, like super early.
Yeah.
But by pushing them back a little bit, when you reduce the amount of traffic that the bus is in, you reduce the amount of time that it takes the bus driver to drive their route.
That's correct.
So hopefully there's an added benefit on that front as well.
And the elementary schools, which are starting a little bit earlier now, they tend to be shorter routes.
Yeah.
You don't have as many, like magnet programs taking the elementary school kids halfway across town like you do with the Liberty High or Baton Rouge High or something.
How long before we can adopt more? How long before the pilot can be expanded?
I think everybody's goal is if the early data first 6 months show that this is reducing truancy and so forth, and we're getting positive feedback, then we could start as early as next year.
Okay. All right. Well, all eyes on Glen Oaks and Capitol High schools and the feeder schools that go into them. In the meanwhile, 2 weeks away from Lamont's second year.
2 weeks away.
What's the vibe? Is it,
very positive.
Yeah.
He's doing a great job. Everybody's very supportive of Superintendent Cole. He's really started shifting the culture at the district, both in central office and out in the schools. He is in the schools so much. He starts every day at a different school. It's really changing things here.
It's really amazing. And I know I talk about how we kind of backed into it, but we landed on the right guy.
It was an unpleasant
miraculous
experience last summer. But,
no, I understand.
But we made the
outcome-
right decision, 100%.
Absolutely. He is Patrick Martin from the school board. Thank you so much for a couple minutes this morning.
Anytime.
7:30 at Talk 107.3 FM. We got news, traffic, weather. We're keeping it education related next. She's right here. Yeah, she had called in the hotline. So I can open the door from my phone now. So yeah, did someone let y'all in or? Yeah, I did. I did. You heard it click? Well, yeah, that was me from my phone. So, absolutely. So, yep. Kill the lights real quick. rolling over to 737 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. We are keeping it education. We've got like a whole education hour this hour here. Moving over from, am I even, 1, 2, 3? One. Okay, well, I'll trust it. Moving over from Patrick Martin with the school board to Adonica Duggan from the Baton Rouge Alliance for Students and Ronnie Morris from Bessie. How y'all doing this morning?
Excited to hear people focused on education, especially this time of year.
It's my headphones. Okay, we're good. All right. No, yes, because we're only 2 weeks away. We're 2 weeks and a day away.
That's right.
From the opening of the school year. Normally the passage of time doesn't baffle me. It's, there's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. For some reason this year, summertime is like, are we done?
We blinked and summer was over this
I
year.
know, I know. Is it shorter?
No.
Okay.
It just feels like it.
All right. No matter where you are, no matter what industry you're in, it feels like labor force is an issue right now. Where are we on the education front with that?
Post-pandemic, we've definitely seen challenges being exacerbated in the teacher talent workforce. And we think that this is a critical issue because we all know that the single most important thing that you can do to make sure kids are well educated is to make sure that they're in front of a great educator every day. And, we are experiencing real challenges both in the state and nationally, but particularly in Baton Rouge around making sure that we have a qualified, high-quality educator in front of our kids every day.
What is it about post-pandemic that sets that off? Is there any way to dig deeper into, like, beyond the numbers to get the why?
I think that we are seeing a lot of research on that right now, but I think that, we know how challenging it was and how challenging the environment was for educators. I think that people are having a lot of opportunities that are other than being in the educator workforce, and we're not attracting our best and brightest. And so districts have to get really innovative about solutions to try and solve that challenge.
What is it that can attract the best and brightest? Is it as simple as pay?
I don't think it's as simple as pay. I think you definitely have to think about what are the incentives. I think that you have to think about differentiating pay. I think the districts that do this well pay more for high demand areas where, if you need a science teacher and it's in a hard to staff area, you need to incentivize those educators differently. I think that it's compensation strategies that are much more comprehensive. And frankly, I think it's taking a look at the overall competitiveness package of a city and saying, what are the things that we can do? Could it be housing? Could it be other incentives to attract people to, if you're going to teach, we want you teaching in Baton Rouge.
What are our possibilities here? What can we do to create that kind of incentive package?
I think that we have to get creative, and I think that we have to bring all of our stakeholders to the table to start having those conversations in the same way that we do around economic development in every other industry, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that that's definitely an opportunity for us in this moment.
A little bit over a month ago, Dr. Brumley brought me down to the Teacher Leader Summit down in New Orleans, and the level of empowerment there is, I don't think I've ever seen anything quite so energetic. You got 7,000 plus educators from all around the state who are convening on the Morial Convention Center in 157-degree heat outside.
That's right.
They just finished their entire school year. They should be sipping drinks with umbrellas in them on a beach somewhere, and they were all fired up to be in that building to get ready for this coming school year.
That's right.
How can we put that in a bottle?
Well, I think Bessie is doing some really innovative things around creating the conditions that educators want to be teaching in. If you want to attract the best and brightest, you have to make it an attractive field. And I think that they're doing some things that are freeing up educators to let teachers teach and other initiatives to free up educators.
Let teachers teach was that's Dr. Brumley's tagline, right?
That's right.
Let teachers teach. But it's more than just a tagline. Person to person, every educator I spoke with said the exact same thing. I finally feel like I'm being listened to.
We all want to feel like we have the opportunity to be successful in what we are doing. And you have to let educators feel like they have the opportunity to be successful in classrooms.
So let's bring that level of autonomy back around. How do we amplify that to let teachers who might be on the fence about if they teach or where they teach, like, how do we let them know this is the way it is now? It's a lot better now. We'll still work on pay, but it's a lot better now than it was.
I think they have to feel valued and respected. I think they have to feel like they are being supported in the classroom. I think that, there are a lot of things that strong school leaders do to create those conditions where educators are attracted to buildings, where they know, just like we all are, we're attracted to people who we want to work for. And we have to create that in the environments that we have in our schools.
Brian, I would add to that, too. I think that there's a lot of positive energy, as you mentioned, at the Teacher Leader Summit. And a lot of that we can attribute to the success that we've had now. There's a really positive vibe in K through 12 education in Louisiana right now. We're trying to get the word out. Louisiana's 32nd nationally in K through 12 education. That old theme of we're 49, thank God for Mississippi, right? That's history. We're 32nd in the country now. That's something we can be proud of. That's something our teachers are proud of, and we're building on the momentum from that enthusiasm. So I think that's part of the story too. We need to get that word out there so citizens all across Louisiana can appreciate where we are and acknowledge our teachers for the work they've done and the positive outcomes that we're seeing.
Perception trails reality in every aspect of life. Perception will always trail reality. We have that 30-second. We have a new reality here. How do we help perception catch up with it?
Well, I think that we're rebranding K through 12 education in the state of Louisiana. It's a different story now, and it's all about spreading the word, helping people to appreciate. That's the paradigm that we're in right now. The other is history. It's in the past. We're forward-looking now. And Donica spoke to, and you spoke to, the need that we have to make sure we have qualified teachers in the classroom to continue building on that momentum. You and I spoke previously at Teacher Leader Summit and a couple other occasions, and I think that AI is going to be a transformational impact on every industry, but specifically the education industry. As teachers appreciate the value of the tool, they recognize that it is a tool. It's a powerful tool. It's a tool that can help them. Feedback I've gotten on from teachers who participated in we rolled out AI pilots to 11 districts throughout the state. I visited with teachers at 2 of those schools in Livingston Parish, a high-performing high school and a rural school. And both the principals and the teachers were just ecstatic about the power of the tool, how it's unloading teachers, it's making the job more fun. And frankly, I think it's going to be transformational because it's going to make the teaching profession more fun. It's going to unload teachers, and every student is going to have a tutor in their laptop.
Right.
So if I'm the kid and I'm in the back of the room and I'm totally lost, I'm zoned out, and I'm afraid to ask the embarrassing question to get me back in again, now I just asked my tutor in my laptop. I got the opportunity to re-engage, and that's helped the student, and it's unloaded the teacher. So I think the school districts that are forward-thinking and they provide the PD so that their teachers are AI literate, and they appreciate the applications, the closed-loop applications for the AI tools, then that's going to be a significant recruiting factor for those districts. They're going to be able to bring in the high-quality, qualified teachers because they've recognized the power of the tool, how to use the tool for the teacher's benefit and the student's benefit. I think they're going to be at a competitive advantage for recruiting teachers to their district.
We talked about that pilot program, and we were supposed to have follow-up on that because the follow-up question is, how do you make sure that's a weapon in the arsenal and not a crutch? So have we learned anything yet, or is it still too soon to know?
That's coming to Bessie, our next Bessie meeting, August 19th.
Okay.
We're going to get the summary report from LDOE staff, and we're obviously looking forward to that. And then, what are next steps to build on after that?
Donica, let's go back to you talking about the gap in the labor force when it comes to teachers.
Yeah.
What other aspects contribute to this and can be? I mean, are there any aspects where we can have easy solutions to say, let's go ahead and fix that?
Yeah, I don't think there are easy solutions. I think that there are challenges around certification. There are challenges and barriers to entry into the profession. I think that, we aren't incentivizing our best and brightest to go into education. I grew up in a house where my mom was an educator, and it hasn't been a profession that we have honored in the ways in the most recent years that we used to. And I think that we much like, what we were talking about in terms of scores, we've got to really shift the public thinking on the quality of people who are being attracted to the profession. I think about this in public service. I think about this in education. People are offering themselves up to the community to do something that we all need them to be doing, and we should be honoring it in that way.
What's Bessie's role in that? How do can we bring this to y'all's level to where it would trickle back down into the actual workforce?
Well, Brian, we first of all want to make sure everybody knows that it's a huge issue for us. We track at Bessie. We track the teacher vacancies throughout the state. Right now, we're at about 1,000 teacher vacancies in the state. That's been a significant improvement since we first started tracking it 3 years ago. We were at 2,500. So we have made some progress to eliminate or reduce the vacancies. And we've got a key performance indicator actually at Bessie now, where we track. That's one of the things that we track is the number of teacher vacancies, and the goal by 2028, I believe, is 0.
Okay.
So we've got an aggressive goal at Bessie. There are a number of different initiatives in place, and we're going to continue to track that. Make sure that everybody appreciates that's a huge focus point for us, and more to come.
When it comes to what attracts a teacher to being a teacher, there's, a respect and autonomy from the top. There's the administration has to respect them, but so does the student as well.
Yeah.
And this is another thing that Dr. Brumley is focused on. If you got that one bad apple, don't let it ruin the bunch. But there's another factor to this, and Ronnie, I want your take here as well, is that a number of students just don't show up.
Yes.
We're talking with Patrick Martin in our last segment about a pilot program being implemented here in Baton Rouge to push back start times and how that can have impacts on truancy as well. What's y'all's take on programs like this and what they could do?
I think we have to be able to walk and chew gum, right? I think that we know that the most important thing that we have to do is get a great educator in every classroom. I think we also have to make sure that kids are showing up for school.
Right.
And I think that it's really important to put emphasis on making sure that we understand the barriers for kids showing up to school as well. Because if either one of those components are missing, we don't get done what we need to get done, and that's educate kids, right?
Right. And Ronnie, I know truancy is one of those, or solving truancy or eliminating it is one of those very near and dear to your heart.
That's exactly right. And it's high priority at Bessie. We've got a key performance indicator tracking that one as well. So we know we've got routine stewardship on that. Statewide, the average truancy rate right now is like 43%.
Yeah.
In EBR, the average for the last 4 years is 55%. So, Brian, stop and think about if the average truancy rate in EBR was 5% instead of 55%, what would the city of Baton Rouge look like? So we're really excited that we've identified this concern, and we've worked with Louisiana Chief Justice Werner, and he's going to lead a solution summit in Alexandria on September 8th. So we're going to have the executive branch for the judicial folks at the summit. We'll have LDOE at the summit, the FINS folks at the summit, and obviously expected outcome here is we come up with some solutions at the Solution Summit to this really critical problem.
You think about how just when you put numbers on it like that, the number is more than half. More than half of students are proving to be truant, and that's like when you look at a third as a goal, right? I mean, if we could push that down to a third or well beyond that, but I mean, it really sticks that number's that big.
It is, and it's critical. Like Adonica said, we obviously want to focus to get high qualified educators with a lot of passion, for education and for kids in the classroom. But if you don't have the kids in the classroom, then you don't really have a school, right? Yeah. And we want the whole thing. We want the whole school. We want quality education. So we're recognizing both components here. We like I said, we do have KPIs in place so that we can quantify right where we're at and set goals, appropriate goals to get where we want to be. And I think those are aggressive goals. So I'm really excited about steps forward, what we've got in place, what we're looking forward to, particularly the Solution Summit in Alexandria on September 8th.
I promised I'd have you all out of here by 7:50. Can I keep you for 2 more minutes?
Sure.
Okay. And if you have to be somewhere by 8, just apologize on my behalf.
That's fine.
Okay. We've got 2 weeks to go till school. When it comes to shoring up that workforce, are we where we're going to be? Are we satisfied with where the number is right now? Or is there a 2-minute drill we can run?
No, I think that the superintendent and the board are very aggressive in their hiring practices right now. I think that, unfortunately, we haven't solidified all of the personnel for the start of school. I think that, we are in a much better position than we have seen in previous years, and there's continued work to be done. And I think that they have to get aggressive, and I think that they are. I think that they're being really innovative in how they're prioritizing, whatever they can do to make sure that they're staffing those classrooms.
Last one before we get you out of here, and that's when I ask about kind of a desperation standpoint. I mean, they said beggars can't be choosers, but in recruiting, we got to recruit the right ones. How do we walk that battle?
I think that that's a real challenge because we don't want people in front of kids who shouldn't be.
Right.
And I think that, they're definitely doing their diligence to make sure that they have the right people. And I think that there's also a benefit to growing a workforce. So once you get someone in the classroom, you don't just take your hands off and say, good luck, I hope it goes well for you. It's making sure that they're supported with the professional development to be successful in that classroom, that they have the mentoring support, they have the additional training that they need to be successful once you get them in the classroom.
Ronnie, what I miss?
I think you got it, Brian.
All right.
It's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to come here and share and help folks in your audience to appreciate where we are in K through 12 education, both the progress that we've made and the aggressive goals that we've set going forward. And just hope everybody can appreciate now that we are 32 and we're looking forward to that next hilltop.
That's right. 32 is the benchmark now. We only go up from here.
That's right.
Ronnie Morris, Adonica Duggan, thank you all so much for some time this morning.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
We're at 7:52 at Talk 107.3 FM. Quick break. We'll close out hour 2 next.
Thank you, sir. Hope that helps.
Did we get everything?
Yeah,
Okay.
that was excellent. Thanks so much.
No, that flew by.
As is the summer.
Well, and I was talking to Ronnie about this before. My oldest is going off to college.
We talked about it a little bit at Rotary.
Yeah.
How you feeling?
I'm not there yet. I'm.
How are you dropping? How are you dropping her?
Oh, we're moving her into her dorm.
Okay. And you driving there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Brian, you said she's the oldest?
Bring sunglasses and a hat.
Of three.
Bring sunglasses and a hat. I flew up to DC and dropped mine off and got her moved in and everything. And I put a baseball cap on and big sunglasses to fly home because I was a basket case 2 years ago.
So the thing about, are the mics off? .756 Talk 107.3 FM. WBRP. That got heavy during the break. Full disclosure, we kept talking during the break, but the upcoming school year, and for Christy and I, our oldest is off to college, and the level of emotion I'm about to go through, not ready for it. So not ready for it. We gotta get back on track though. We have hour 3 is on the way. We'll have This Day in History. We'll talk a little Shark Week with Forrest Galante from Alien Sharks and from Florida's Death Beach. Those aren't completely hyperbolic titles. And then we've got Restaurant Week continuing all week long. The folks over at digbr.com, digbr.com. And, of course, we've had Stephen Hightower in talking about who's participating and where. 56 restaurants signed up this year. 56 restaurants putting their footprint on, putting what they want in on Restaurant Week. Y'all, as the week wears on, just get out and explore a little bit. Let the chefs get chefy. Let them do something that is fun and exciting and different, and not just the normal, not just the normal menu items that you're used to. Check it out at digbr.com/restaurant week is the home base there. The new owners of Nino's are going to be in at 8:35 this morning to talk about exactly that. Trying to sift through a couple things here just to make sure I have things right. My apologies, y'all. I'm catching up on some stuff that I don't know is reportable yet. Okay, we'll just keep moving. Want to go back to a story you heard in news at the bottom of last hour, or was it this hour? Talk about the new school year, by the way. 7, 8, 9. Talk about the new school year as it's 2 weeks away. Back to school shopping is going to be in full swing probably next week, if not the week after. And Bankrate shows almost half of back to school shoppers say they're looking for ways to save money right about now. Ted Rossman with Bankrate says one way you could do so is stack up discounts together. Cut 7, please. You don't have it's all right. Huh?
Offering a deal. Well, that's great, but don't stop there. Combine that with a rewards credit card. Maybe combine it with an online shopping portal.
The rewards thing is a topic for me. I've never been a coupons guy, but I am a big rewards program guy. And I don't know who has a rewards program where I'm shopping for back to school stuff. But if they're out there, like there are certain rewards programs you sign up for and you never cash in on. There are ones that are really, really good. Like, for example, Mathern's, and I know I speak on their behalf every single day, but Mathern's rewards program, when you're earning cash towards more groceries every time you shop, you are earning cash towards more groceries every time you shop. Walgreens has a good one. Smoothie King, you can cash out quite I can't tell you the last time I went to Smoothie King and didn't have at least a $2 off coupon. There are certain ones that really cash in, but man, when it comes to the school shopping, I don't know. And there's some that are a little more deceptive, like Upside. You'll hear this. We got to get out of here. But have you heard the commercials for? John, we're going to talk about this when we come back. Here comes news. 806 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Hour 3 coming your way right now. Brian here with you, John LaBeouf producing. You heard that forecast from Emma Kate Cowan, EKC right there. Talk about how hot it's going to get today. Well, we are starting off warmer than normal. In fact, we started off the show at 81, and we've only gone up to 83 thus far. But, man, in the 80s before the sun was up. That's a rough go of it right there. Busy hour for you this hour. We're talking Shark Week with Forrest Galante coming up in our next segment. We are talking Restaurant Week with Nino's after that is over with. Right now, though, before we dive into anything else, we do we do This Day in History.
All right. Beginning in 1829, where William Austin Burt patents America's first typewriter.
All right.
Wonder if he thought, you know?
What, like how far that would go or where that would go?
Yeah.
Or that we'd be doing
Like
everything
what? You're not going to have a typewriter in your pocket.
Right? Well, but you do everything with your thumbs. Did you ever learn how to type?
On typewriter? No.
Yeah.
Unfortunately
Or on
not.
any keyboard.
Yeah. And keyboard, yeah. There were classes for that in high school. But
I mean, it's the same as a typewriter, the way the letters are all laid out.
Love the sound of a typewriter, by the way.
Yeah, the old school.
Yeah. Oh, so good.
Yep.
Let's see, 1904. This is right in time for summer. Ice cream cone is created during the St. Louis World's Fair. Apparently by Charles E. Minches.
Okay.
So, okay. Well, now you can, put the claim on that.
To be the first one to put it in a
Yeah.
cone?
Just, put it in a cone.
Yeah.
All right, let's
What do
see.
I do with this when I'm done? You eat it. You eat the cone. That probably wasn't the easiest sell, right?
No.
If it was always in a cup before that.
Oh, man. 1973, U.S. President Richard Nixon refuses to release Watergate tapes of conversations in the White House relevant to the Watergate investigation.
Interesting.
Interesting indeed. Let's see. 2015, Supreme Court rejects Bill Cosby's petition against a civil case of his alleged sexual assault of a 15-year-old girl in 1974. Oof. Dang, Cosby.
Yeah.
2019, U.S. Senate passes bill championed by comedian Jon Stewart to ensure 9/11 first responders fund never runs out of money.
Okay.
So there's that. Yeah.
All right. That's
good stuff.
Pretty awesome.
Yes, indeed. Let's see. 2024, U.S. Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle steps down after the agency failed to prevent an assassination attempt of Donald Trump.
Wait, this one was last year?
Yeah, 1 year ago today.
Okay.
Anything else on this day?
No, I'm way behind this morning. I've been chasing down some other stuff. So
okay. No problem. Moving on to birthdays here. Actor Marlon Wayans today. Actress Katherine Hahn.
Okay.
Haile Selassie today as well.
Who?
Haile Selassie. He was this emperor, Ethiopia. Wasn't he like the head of some religion? He was, yeah.
All
head
right.
of that. Yeah. Anyway, musician Slash, Guns N' Roses.
Okay.
Woody Harrelson today, and Harry Potter himself, Daniel Radcliffe.
Really?
Yeah.
Daniel Radcliffe is an underrated comedic actor.
Oh, absolutely. He was fantastic in the Weird Al.
Never saw Weird Al.
Oh,
I really want to.
Oh, it's so good.
It looks amazing. But there was now I'm gonna forget the name of the show. He did a show where there was like 3 different seasons of it, and every season was the same cast, but it was set in a different time.
Oh man,
Miracle Workers, I think was the name of it.
Could be.
Let me go look it up. I don't want to leave this empty
Yeah,
here. Let me
not
go
a
look it up. We've got a ton more birthdays too. So
for sure. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, let's see who else we had. Well, there's some sports ones. I like to leave.
Teron Armstead's the only
sports to
sports
you.
one I had in front of me. That was the only one I had of significance, or at least local. Outside of that, you had. Did you have Philip Seymour Hoffman in your birthdays today?
Wow, it's his birthday today.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Talk about a
Also,
good actor.
Justice Anthony Kennedy. It's his birthday today, and longtime radio host Don Imus was born on this day in 1940. And I knew I had one more in here, but they have since disappeared.
Yeah, let's see here. Yeah, I don't know of anyone else of, hate to say significance, but you know.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. I found the other one. It's Monica Lewinsky.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yep.
There we go. 2 deaths today. Ulysses S. Grant
Mm-hmm.
and Amy Winehouse.
Okay. And
the two I have.
also to go along with that, Sally Ride, first woman in space. She died on this day, as did no, you just said Amy Winehouse, so we're good to go.
Yep. It's National Days. Hot enough for you day?
Why not? That's stupid, but okay.
It is. Well, you know what? Ice cream cone. Well, National Vanilla Ice Cream Day.
That'll work.
Yeah.
We could roll with that one. Next Tuesday, Bluebell's coming in. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Just as a heads up, Bluebell will
Forward
be
to
here
that.
next Tuesday. So, we're at 812 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Before we take our next break, I want to remind you about the folks at Landmark Bank. LandmarkBankLA.com is the website, LandmarkBankLA.com. If you live in the surrounding area around Baton Rouge, if you are in one of the communities around Baton Rouge and you want a community bank, that's where Landmark Bank comes in. Now, if you want a community bank where you don't sacrifice any of the services of one of the big banks, this is where Landmark Bank really steps up. They've been a community bank since 1897. They continue to be a community bank today. If you're in Zachary, if you're in Clinton, if you're in Denham, if you're in Greensburg, if you're in Brewley, in fact, if you go to landmarkbankla.com, pull up their website, you can get the full list of locations over there. But what it is when you step through that front door, you have a banker, someone you can shake hands with, someone who can walk you through whatever issue you've got. If you need to borrow to buy a house, if you're borrowing for anything, they can help you out on that front. If you're investing, if you want to start saving towards retirement, they can help you there too. And since you have a banker, you're not filling out some template. You're working with them to find your path. Same's true on the business side, by the way, if you're diving off that entrepreneur cliff. LandmarkBankLA.com. Miracle Workers is the name of the show.
Steve Buscemi's in there as well. Huh.
Oh.
Yeah, I've never heard of the show, but it looks like one heck of a cast, man.
Ooh. I asked Christy. I said, you'll never guess who I'm interviewing tomorrow. I asked her this yesterday. I don't know if you looked at the bottom corner of the sheet there for 1020. Yeah. I said, you never guess. I said they were very big in the 80s. And she said, like randomly, she says, Richie Valens? And I'm like, well, no, he's dead, but the guy who played him.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's amazing.
That's really
How did you just guess that randomly?
Right. That's cool. That is pretty cool.
He's got a new movie. Lou Diamond Phillips has a new movie coming out Friday called Et Tu. He plays a play director who hates directing Julius Caesar, and he loses his mind throughout. And it is bonkers.
Love it.
Y'all know I nerd out about this time every single year when it comes to Shark Week, and I'm like on double nerd mode right now because we've got Forrest Galante on with us. He's featured in Alien Sharks, Death Down Under. That's coming up tonight. And then later on this week, we got Florida's Death Beach. Forrest, welcome to Talk 107.3. How are you, man?
Yeah, I'm good, Brian. Thanks for having me.
No, glad to have you on here. I would be remiss if I didn't start with the titles of your two shows. Death Down Under and Florida's Death Beach. We're a little bit over the top here, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean, the titles are ridiculous. I'll give you that, Brian. Unfortunately, I don't have any control over that. Everything's got to be death and loud and crazy because apparently that's what makes people tune in. But the truth is they're really good shows. And, they're very science-based, which is what I do. And they're cool. We look at why New Smyrna Beach is the shark attack capital of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And we look into some incredible creatures in Australia, some unique adaptations in sharks, venomous sharks, sharks that don't have big teeth, not the typical great white sharks and tiger sharks that you're usually seeing, but the lesser known, lesser spotlighted sharks.
And that's where the science comes back into it for us. And that's what I've always appreciated about Shark Week is while the promo and the hype train rolls on, the science never goes away. Y'all do what you do. And for more than 30 years, Discovery has done this better than anybody else out there.
Yeah, I agree. It's Shark Week's been around as long as I have, and it's a summer's institution now. And yeah, there are some shows that I think are more entertainment forward, but the ones that I enjoy and the ones that I think people enjoy the most are the ones that are education forward, and that's what it's about. It's about people understanding that sharks are not mindless killing machines. They're not crazy, death creators. They're just unbelievably cool predators that have been around for a very long time, and we're here to educate people on them.
Absolutely. We're talking with Forrest Galante about Shark Week, Alien Sharks, Death Down Under. Forrest, I'd be lying if I said I knew what a venomous shark was. Tell me about this.
Yeah, of course. So believe it or not, some sharks have evolved incredible amounts of adaptations, and a couple of species of sharks have evolved venom instead of big, gnarly teeth. And so in Venom Down Under, we head to Australia, we look at a whole lot of really cool animals, and we focus on two, but really one species of shark that has a potent venom that is a deep water shark not often seen or recorded, and thus we don't know that much about its venom. So we catch the shark, we isolate the venom, we purify it and dilute it and test it on the human body to see what will happen, and unfortunately I'm that human body.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Well, the fact that you're on with us right now kind of spoils it a little bit. We know that you come out okay, but what do we learn along the way?
We learned that it hurts like hell, but we learn a lot. I mean, that's the whole point of it. Like I said, it's a real show and tell of really cool species. But more than that is the fact that we look into what is the potency of this venom, what is it that the venom actually does to the body, and we show how cool these sharks are and learn to respect them. And that's like I said, that's what it's about.
We're talking with Forrest Galante about Shark Week. So that's Alien Sharks, which is coming up tonight. Coming up Friday, Florida's Death Beach. This is one of the ones that I get particularly interested in, Forrest, because you talk about patterns of what sharks actually do, how they are out there in the wild. New Smyrna Beach is just south of Daytona Beach in Florida, and it has become a hot spot. What are we going to learn on Friday?
We are going to learn why it's a hot spot, because it is an amazing confluence of factors that lead to why there are so many bites there. Mm-hmm. More shark bites there than everywhere else in the world combined, which is crazy to think about. And it really comes down to a whole storm of situations. Why the sharks are in against the beach, why so many people are swimming there, why there's low visibility, why there are big predators offshore pushing those sharks in, why the food's there. So it's really just looking into the reason there are so many bites. But I do want to point out, contrary to the silly title, it's not about deaths. It's about bites. It's smaller sharks that are biting people that are leading to this high attack rate. And so that's really what the show looks into, and it's really pretty cool.
No, absolutely. And like I said, these are the things that I'm just drawn towards because, look, you're on here in Louisiana right now, and I watched a show last night, or I should say on Monday night, that was you saw attacks in Pensacola, Florida, and over in Texas, and like we're smack dab in the middle of that. Sharks, I mean, they do move around a good bit, and it's a good idea scientifically. It's a good idea to keep tabs on them.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
So that's what's coming up this week. Coming up next week, you've got a new show out, and I saw the promo for it already. Animals on Drugs. Tell me about this.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very timely show. It's about animals that really don't have the choice, but are subjected to human substances and narcotics, from meth houses getting blown over by hurricanes and meth getting flushed down the toilets, to alcohol being left out that bears get into, to how larger animals are changing the entire ecosystem and becoming extremely dangerous through the cocaine trade, and it's not Cocaine Bear in the sense of it being really like loud and silly. It is real science, again, that's what I strive to do, about animals that are exposed to these substances without a choice and the negative consequences that they're having.
Okay, so once again, here in Louisiana, you mentioned Pablo Escobar. They used to fly cocaine into Louisiana and just drop it off, already wrapped up, into the marsh. I'm amazed,
right.
constantly amazed, that we didn't see more cocaine alligators.
That you know about, those
True.
things bioaccumulate in the waterways and in the food chain. So we probably did. If you think about dumping cocaine into a waterway, gets into the systems of all the fish, an alligator comes along and eats 5, 10, 15 fish, it starts to bioaccumulate in the system. And it doesn't mean that it's going to be all high and strung out and, like to party late at night. What it means is the alligator is going to get sick. It's going to have reproductive issues. It's going to change its genetics or its hormones. And that's what we're looking at in this show. And it's really quite fascinating.
It really is the effects of man on the nature around it. We got Forrest Galante for just another minute. I would be remiss if I didn't ask what you're working on for the next year's Shark Week as well. We always like to get a little teaser.
Well, I think Alien Sharks is a pretty substantial franchise at this point. We've done it every year for a number of years. And next year, I'm looking to do more Alien Sharks. I've got more adventures with wildlife. Everything I do is about communicating conservation and trying to make people fall in love with cool animals and protect them. And so all I'll say is we got a lot of really cool wildlife content in the pipeline.
Don't let the hype train fool you. They stay on top of the science and the coexistence between us and the nature around us. He is Forrest Galante. Looking forward to the rest of Shark Week, man. Hope to talk to you again soon.
Thank you.
8:23 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. I appreciate Forrest's time there. He's a busy man this Shark Week. Not one, but two shows featured right there. Take a quick moment to remind you about the folks over at Breck, Baton Rouge's recreational department right there. Breck.org is the website, breck.org, BREC.org. And I always tout how Breck has to be all things to all people, right? No matter what it is you're into, they've got something for you. And I, from time to time, will mention some of the classes that they've got on their calendar. In fact, if you go to breck.org right now, you could put yourself into a number of classes, like literally today. Pulling up, you go to calendar, go to all events, and it pulls up the full calendar. Fast forward to this morning. Going on right now, you've got the Sunshine Club over at Tiki-Saya Memorial Park. Coming up 5 minutes from now, Busy Bodies is going to get underway out at Independence Community Park. Coming up an hour from now, Commit to be Fit at the North Sherwood Forest Community Park. Scrolling through, there's classes all over the place. 10 a.m., Loyal to the Soil at Howell Park. Table tennis going on at Independence Park. I mean, just nonstop throughout the day, you're going to find stuff going on in all places around Baton Rouge. Love it. Love it. Cannot get enough of it. I mean, and 99% of it's probably not for you. But the thing about Breck is they're looking out for that 1% that is for you. Because your 1%, my 1%, and John's 1%, well, they're all different 1%. And Breck's got you covered. It starts over at breck.org. We're going to hit up our Restaurant Week segment in our next segment, or the next two segments, before we haul on out of here. Before we get to that, though, I had reserved here to talk about the storm system in the thought that it was going to grow from yesterday to today. But we are still where we were yesterday with this. It's a trough of low pressure near the southeastern United States coast. It's producing disorganized showers and thunderstorms. Over the next day or two, the system is forecast to move west-southwest into the north-central portion of the Gulf, where some slow development is possible. By this weekend, the system is likely to move inland, ending its chances for development. Regardless of tropical cyclone formation, locally heavy rainfall is possible for portions of Florida over the next day or so, and for the northern Gulf Coast through the weekend. As it stands right now, this storm, which is in the Atlantic and going to move west across Florida, just like the storm we saw last week did, west across Florida, if it does become a named storm, it will be Dexter, but it's looking more and more like that's not going to be the case, which is great. I'll go another day or another week without any named storm. Keep on pushing it down. eventually, forecasts get revised down. Colorado State has already knocked their forecast down by one storm and one major storm. No problem seeing that get whittled away a little bit further. So with there not being a whole lot on that front, we'll move on. Oh, John, we were talking heading into the top of the hour. We never got back to it. We were talking about the different rewards programs and whatnot.
Yes.
Do you partake in any of those?
Not necessarily. Well, yeah, rewards programs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
of course, anywhere I could say if I try.
The topic of conversation started with our news partners at Louisiana Radio Network talking about back to school shopping, and they spoke with bank rate analyst Ted Rossman, who talks about stacking discounts. In fact, if you still got Cut 7, hit it again.
I do. Yeah. Let's see what we got.
The store's offering a deal. Well, that's great, but don't stop there. Combine that with a rewards credit card. Maybe combine it with an online shopping portal.
How do you stack up your savings? And which rewards programs are actually worth it? Would love to hear from some folks over in the chat. Hit us up. Be a part of that glorified crew over in our Facebook Live feed. Facebook Live feed brought to you by Lake Urgent Care every single day. Let us know what rewards programs you find actually pay off. I know Mathern's does, but I talk about Mathern's every day. If you download the Mathern's Rewards app, you can be earning cash towards more groceries every time you shop. But what other ones pay off? Where have you been able to make some money or get some money back in your pocket? You hear those ads all over radio about Upside. And I don't speak on behalf of Upside. This is not a paid endorsement for Upside, but I have Upside. And I got to tell you, I can tell you exactly how much money is in my Upside account right now. In my Upside account right now, I have $37.95. And that is over the course of the last 3 months. So,
good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
I mean, $10 a month doesn't sound like a whole lot, but when you hear the commercials for Upside, it makes it sound like you're earning $100 a month or something like that. It's a lot less than that. In fact, right now, Circle K up Government Street, you can get 14 cents a gallon. So if you're filling up your tank, you're going to make like $2, $3 per tank at best. That 14 cents a gallon is rare. Normally, it's somewhere like 6 to 7 cents per gallon. If you could find the gas station that participates, like taking Abby to camp a couple weeks ago, stopping in Natchitoches, that French market, whatever place that everyone was raving about and I think is to do, they didn't offer Upside.
Yeah, I think just being a rewards member with Circle K, I think you save 5 cents.
So that's what that guy was talking about with stacking it, right?
Yep.
You take your Circle K rewards, and then you add your Upside rewards on top of it. Keep it going.
That's right.
Keep it flush. I don't know. Do you participate in rewards programs? Let us know over on the Talk 1073 Facebook page. We are live there on Facebook every single day. I'm looking at a couple of the comments. They're all about previous topics.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do the Upside one. I do the Walgreens one. Can't get enough of the Walgreens. Dollar for dollar, that might be the one that pays off the most.
Oh, for sure.
Pays off the most for sure. Smoothie King is one, and then Mathern's. Those are the only four that I do.
Yeah.
See, Galen talks about his Capital One miles. Okay, over on Facebook, he says, easy to accumulate, easy and fast to claim the credits. So far, 1 ticket to Europe, a cruise package for 2, and some other miscellaneous gifts for me.
There you go.
Okay, we can roll with that for sure. Yeah. So, putting your miles on there. So if you got your Capital One card plugged into your Upside account, now you're doubling up, right? That's the stacking that Ted Rossman was talking about. All right, we got news, traffic, weather. Restaurant Week continues next. Oh, what'd you say? Run goodies today. All right, well, let me slide this table over so we can. So there's the Facebook Live camera right there. You got 7 minutes during the break, or 6.5 minutes during the break. slide that the rest of the way in here. I didn't want to run you all over. So I haven't been to Nino's since y'all bought it. I think it's been a while since I've been. Have you changed anything, made it your own, or?
Yeah. So the core of what made Nino special in the first place, homemade breads, pastas, and all the way down to our vanilla extract. We still do. We kept a lot of the favorite bolognese, carbonara, those kinds of things, and then we went back to the roots of seasonal, fresh, what's good right now kind of menu. So we got lucky. Our chef has been with us for close to a decade. So
Oh, wow.
he made that transition pretty easy for us.
I would guess
And
so,
then
yeah.
him and my husband get back there and kind of create the magic.
Okay. Am I smelling coffee? Is that what that is?
It's an espresso panna cotta.
We brought the couple desserts that we're doing for Restaurant Week.
Okay.
We weren't ready to kind of get the kitchen going yet, but
No, all
these
good.
guys were,
All
you
good.
know, one's got milk in it, the other one's got egg in it, so it's breakfast.
No, of course. Thank you for coming in.
And luckily, it's at the beginning of the week when we still are somewhat asleep. Still got sleep in us.
Do what? No, right here's fine. I'm gonna hand them off to John to go show off like directly to the camera.
Okay.
So, but we'll keep in the background. And so what we'll do is we'll sit down. We'll talk for a little while. Talk about y'all. Talk about buying it on Nino's. Talk about Restaurant Week. When we go to break at 8:50, I'll try everything, and then we'll wrap it all up with just the overview. So easy peasy.
Jason, Shannon, Lopez.
Is this y'all's first venture in the restaurant world?
Oh, we've been in restaurants for our lives, really.
Okay.
I think we both started, or no, she's been doing restaurants longer than me. I started in 08 and kind of, cut my teeth across the country. And
This is our first
ownership. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Shannon's a Louisiana native, but Baton Rouge, we've been here for
Going on
4? Yeah, we hit the week Ida hit. Or we moved the week Ida hit.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So like brand new
Still
house, still had boxes everywhere. It was like, oh, okay.
Well, welcome. Yeah.
Yeah. That was my first hurricane.
But it's funny because we moved
Where are you
from
from?
Nevada.
I'm from South Texas.
Okay.
Yeah. Born and raised in San Antonio, and then I love San Antonio too. And then
Vacation there.
I mean, we actually did San Antonio like as tourists, right? Like being from there,
Yeah.
and then we did it like with our kids, and we stayed at the JW Marriott in the Hill Country and did the theme parks, and like it was so fun.
We
It was
stayed
great.
in an Airbnb that was kind of hood adjacent.
Yeah.
It was the whole thing was awesome.
That's awesome.
Everything except the Alamo was awesome.
Sounds about right.
Although I did to a different city every year. And we hit up San Antonio 2 years ago. Got to see the Missions play baseball.
Yeah. They haven't redone that ballpark yet, though.
Yeah. They it's like 140 degrees.
Yeah.
It's just so hot. But it was awesome. Bought the alternative T-shirt for instead of the Missions, the flying chocolate.
Oh, the flying chocolate. Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a good time. Riverwalk is awesome. The marketplace was awesome. They got that I don't know what it's called, but it's this huge marketplace. It's like the French market in New Orleans.
Like
but on
downtown.
steroids.
No, more like what do they call it, the Mercado, like literally
Yeah.
the market. Like, yeah.
It goes on for blocks.
Oh yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we literally loved everything. My wife and I are members of this Catholic ministry that got started in San Antonio.
Oh, okay.
So it's called Acts.
Yeah, I
So
know Acts. Yeah.
We got to go to the home base there. And
yeah.
So, where in Louisiana were y'all before, or where are you from?
I'm born and raised Ponchatoula.
Okay.
Yeah, but we were living in Avita Springs for a little while.
Yeah. We met in New Orleans. And we moved to Ohio and back to Texas. And
Awesome.
Utah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I'm originally from Covington, so
Okay.
right next door.
I did not want to leave Avita Springs.
Who would? It's awesome. 8:38, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Restaurant Week, rolling right along. 56 different restaurants signed up to get on board, to get you out of the house and do something creative, do something fun, do something that maybe you wouldn't normally. Don't go with your usual order, all right? Everybody that's signed up here is doing something that's really stepping outside of the box. And right now, we've got Shannon and Jason Lopez. They are the new owners of Nino's. Welcome aboard. How y'all doing today?
Wonderful. Thanks for having us.
No, glad to have you all in here. Glad to be talking about, first of all, Nino's is a longtime favorite. I think underrated. I don't know, like, where the location is. It's off of Blue Bonnet. It's like, I don't know if you don't get that big marquee right there, but it's always been just a fantastic Italian spot right here in Baton Rouge. So, first of all, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Secondly, let's start talking about y'all's story here. I mean, let's start talking about moving into Nino's. What got this whole ball rolling?
Well, I'll go. Yeah, it was. We had a date night at Nino's. Like, being restaurant people, you don't get a lot of them. So we went on a Saturday game day, honestly, and we were like, all right, we can probably get in. And we didn't even know we were going to go there. Kind of asking around, and everybody said go to Nino's.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, and so we went in, we sat down, we had a wonderful experience. The food was amazing, the service was great, and we loved it. And we decided, kind of moving along about a year later after that, I guess, we're kind of scrolling a brokerage site. We were kind of putting together what we wanted to do on our own, building out our business plan, the whole nine.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just kind of looking at a brokerage site, and Shannon says, hey, Jason, what restaurant do you think this is? And I said, sounds like Nino's, but there's no way. She says, but if it is? And I said, it's not. Don't worry about it. No way. And she said, but Jason. And I said, if it is, I'll go get the money right now.
Right.
And it took a little longer than right now, but we figured it all out, and we met with Elton and Randy, the previous owners, and they were wonderful. And I think they were comfortable handing over the reins to, a family, people that were passionate about food, passionate about the restaurant, passionate about doing it the right way. And it's been a year last week since we took over ownership, and it's been a roller coaster and a wild ride, but so well received from the community, and we couldn't be more grateful and thankful. And it's been awesome, man. It's been really spectacular.
We're talking with Shannon and Jason Lopez about Nino's, and we're going to get into Restaurant Week in a little bit, but I want to continue a little more on y'all's journey here. This is your first time with the ownership of a restaurant. Walk me through what it's like to move into a place that already has a reputation, stellar reputation. They're already doing a lot of things the right way. I mean, from top to bottom, the right way. Moving into that versus the idea of wanting to go off and do something that's completely brand new.
For us, we have two small kids, and so for a very long time, we wanted our own thing. But as everybody knows, restaurants are the most risky.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we found something that we got really excited about, what was already there, we really felt like it was a diamond that had been kind of covered in dust, and we were just the people to shine that up a little bit. We got very, very fortunate. So our chef has been there for close to a decade. And really, we wanted to wrap our arms around what was already there and build upon that. And so even our guests, upon meeting us the first time, it was kind of like, great to meet you. We're glad that somebody in the building really cares about Nino's.
Yeah.
Don't mess it up. Don't mess it up.
I said, there's a little bit of pressure there because, you know, if you go open-ended with, you know, something that's completely your own, you don't have that built-in level of expectation. I just got a text as the segment started. I got a text from the former head of Visit Baton Rouge. He's like, take it from an Italian. Nino's is great. And I'm like, but you have that bar you have to clear every day, right?
Right.
So you've moved in not just to an establishment, but to a reputation as well. What's it like? What's it like to know? You know, that's what people expect.
We actually talked about that last night because we have our grill cook is on vacation right now, and our saute cook just had a baby. So we're down for the count, right? So yesterday I was the grill cook, and you know, when I'm running the kitchen, I'm sending food out. I know it looks great. I know, you know, the flavors, all that. But last night it was, you know, I'm physically cooking everything. So Shannon walks to the kitchen, and for me it was like, how's it going out there? She's like, it's great. It's wonderful. I was like, they're liking the food. Yeah. How about that filet? Was it cooked right? You know, and so there is added pressure to deliver. And we've done this for such a long time. You know, in a big corporate world, you know, we both cut our teeth with the Cheesecake Factory.
Okay.
I was in Indianapolis. She was in California. So different sides of the country. But
right.
Moved around a whole bunch. I got to do 10 restaurant openings, including an international opening in Dubai, which was spectacular. And Shannon kind of went up and down the East Coast, and then we worked for a few other concepts other than that. But we really pride ourselves on our ability to operate at an excellent level, truly. And we were able to kind of take that expertise and put it into what, again, Elton and Randy had already built and was spectacular. And yeah, it's pressure.
Yeah.
But you know, John Villiers there, and we get to have fun. And you know, there's stuff that we do that sometimes is a little bit too funky, and we don't send it out to the guests. But you know,
okay,
that's where I come into play.
But that's what Restaurant Week is all about, though. You take that funky and you share it with the guests, and I mean, and the other thing about Restaurant Week is you're going to find price points all over the place. Okay, you're going to find folks that are in the $20 to $25 range. Nino's $60 range right there. So you're stepping it up a little bit, and I'm looking at the menu for what y'all are offering, and it's definitely living up to that upper end, that upper echelon of, hey, let's try something new and fantastic.
100%. Yeah, and we learned that lesson from the last one. You know, we had this zucchini bread that we described it to guests and special it, and no one picked up on it. And so we actually put it on the Restaurant Week menu. And when you only have two options for dessert and you're eating with two guests, each one of them is getting kind of that package, you're a lot more inclined to take a risk on a dessert that you might not normally care for. And it was wildly popular.
Okay.
Sounded a little funky, but once you get it out there and really let our guests taste it, that's really when the magic happens. You know, and there are definitely times that I have to draw him and Chef back. You know, for me, I've been mostly front of the house, and so I'm talking to our guests on a regular basis. I kind of have a little bit of a pulse on Baton Rouge community taste and things like that. And so there, every now and then, there's a moment that I'm like, okay, it's cool, it's funky, maybe a little too funky for the general crowd, but for the most part, we have some really adventurous guests that the ones who have dined with us or dine with us often, they're like, you know what? I don't even need to know what's on that. Just give me the bruschetta or give me that crab steak special. They've gained trust.
Which is awesome, by the way. That's the next level, right? When they come in and they trust, it's just whatever you got, bring it to us. So what have you got for Restaurant Week?
Yeah, so we did a couple fun things. We put our cucumber riscotto as a soup option on there, which is pretty awesome, but it's just it's very fresh and light. Cucumbers, yogurt, a little bit of lemon juice, honey, little garlic for some richness, salt and pepper, and then we just kind of put a little cucumber salad with some fresh onions and tomatoes in there to top that off. We got a olive and roasted red pepper tamponade, so really traditional tamponade on a bed of whipped goat cheese, served with our homemade bread. That one's really lovely and rich. And then we did a cacio e pepe arancini, which is fun, and we really like that one. We did that for a private dinner that we auctioned off as a fundraiser, and it was just really well received. And that comes on a kind of a goat cheese vodka sauce, if you will. Yeah, so it's
goat cheese vodka sauce.
I know.
I need further explanation.
Yeah, so we basically we deglaze with the vodka, bring that down. It's got a little bit of marinara, some cream in it, and then we hit it with a dollop of goat cheese. Mix it up really nice, so it's kind of got that tangy goat cheese flavor. the richness from our marinara that we make, and then the cream kind of settles it all down and balances it. And then you get that just pecorino romano and peppery arancini and the crispy dough or crispy breading on it. I mean, it came out great. It's a really, really lovely dish. We like that one a lot. And then our entrees. So we did a pork and fennel lemon ragu.
Okay.
So that one's really nice. That one, and it's just bright. It's lovely. We take, we braise down some pork in some cream, a lot of lemon, bunch of fennel. We let that get just really soft and shreddable. We shred that, and then we build every pasta we make in-house. So we get our homemade linguine, and we build it to order. So we're gonna take that pork, a little bit of that braising liquid that we already had, then we just kind of enhance that with some cream, toss that little fresh squeeze of lemon, and then it gets a little bit of gremolata on top of that. So it's rich, but at the same time it's light, and that's kind of what we, Baton Rouge, it's 100 degrees outside, but we still like our gumbos.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, and as I'm scrolling through the menu, basically everything on here it's built for the season. It's built for it to be 100 degrees outside. Because the next item up here, the other option would be the sea bass.
Yeah. So that was a really lovely. That's a great dish. So we get wild caught Chilean sea bass. The fish itself is beautiful, so we don't have to do much to it.
Okay.
But it's just panade. It's served on top of some saffron risotto, and then some fresh veg, and then we just we do a lemon anchovy beurre blanc. And don't be scared. That was one of our funky ones that Shannon was like, what are you doing? And I was like, just please try it. And it's good. You get just enough funky from the anchovy, but it's rich, it's bright. It's got some lemon in there, so it's lovely as well.
Well, and with the sea bass though, the anchovy's not going to out-salt it.
No.
So awesome stuff. On the dessert front, what are we looking at?
Yeah, so we did our panna cotta is always very popular in house, so we like to do a little riff on that. So we did an espresso panna cotta, and it's just literally we took some espresso and we steeped the cream in it, kind of strained everything out. There'll be a little bit of coffee grinds in there because we couldn't get everything out, but it's just got great flavor. And then that's served with our house-made lemon curd. And then we did a pistachio brickle, so some toffee, some pistachios kind of crumbled up and just dusted on there. And then the last one is our red wine Zaglione. Which is a kind of an Italian custard. So it's just egg, sugar, and then in this case, some red wine. We did traditionally you would do a Zaglione with like a Marsala. Ours is 100% Sangiovese. So when you try it, it's kind of elegant and light. You get some fruit, some fresh berry, and some strawberry, and then that's served with a chocolate-covered ladyfinger and some fresh fruit on top.
All right, so I'm going to get to dig in on these desserts when we hit break. We get Your Money Now coming up 1 minute from right now. We've got Jason and Shannon Lopez from Nino's in with us. Just the menu from start to finish, just all of it there. I mean, really the heaviest thing, or the only thing that I wouldn't expect from is the arancini. And by the way, that's just not fair that Italians can deep fry something in a ball and make it sound fancy. Everywhere, it's an Italian boudin ball. I mean, essentially. Correct. So it's fancy, it's gorgeous, it's on a plate, but anywhere else it'd be like fair food.
Right.
We got to take our break real quick. We got Nino's in the house, one of the great restaurants, one of the 56 restaurants that are signed up for Restaurant Week, which continues all week long. Okay, on air, Your Money Now, and we will check traffic and come back on Facebook Live. We will dig in on these desserts as we got Nino's in the house. All right, let me hand off to John to put them up in front of the camera so we can properly show them off. You want to do the play-by-play here and talk about what he's showing off as he's showing it off? So no, on the
mic here. Yeah. Right now?
Yeah, that's the one with the espresso.
Yes, that's our espresso panna cotta. So it's just a clear espresso steep panna cotta, topped with a little bit of coffee grind, some lemon curd, and then we did a pistachio brickle. So essentially a toffee with some pistachios in it that's just kind of crumbled up and sprinkled on top.
All right, so what should I be expecting when I taste into this?
Oh, man. So you're going to get some richness from the coffee. You're going to get like a nice little brightness from the lemon curd, and then that toffee pistachio brickle just adds a little bit of different consistency and texture to it. But, I just think it's a really lovely dessert.
Okay, lemon pops first, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's just because it's the order it was in on the spoon, but the lemon definitely pops first. The coffee's a lot more subtle than I thought it would be.
Yeah, we didn't want to to over bitter it, and there's definitely plenty of sugar in it. The coffee still. That's kind of why we kind of dusted it as well. But yeah, the idea was just kind of nice, refreshing. You know, it's dessert, but we wanted it to be something you could have with your espresso.
Yeah.
You know, we do a lot of coffees and espressos for dessert, and typically we'll serve with a little lemon on the side. So it was.
Well, the goal is always to leave our guests completely satisfied and full, but not weighed down and like regretting their decisions later.
So Brickle, this is my first experience with this.
Yeah.
It's like a pistachio toffee.
Yeah, basically, I made a toffee. I toasted some pistachios up, a little bit of sea salt, and then once it hardened, I just banged it, crushed it up. Yeah.
You could wrap that and sell it as a bar.
Oh,
That's
it's
amazing.
Yeah, the Brickle's amazing. It's one of my favorite things to do. But it gets troublesome because if you have that on hand, it's just all day.
Definitely, I could definitely see that. That would be that would be a thing for me. All right. Okay. Now, John, show this one off. And he's got other spoons. I want y'all to try these as well.
Oh yeah. So this is a red wine, a chilled red wine Zaglione. So Zaglione is a traditional Italian dessert. Essentially, it's a custard. So it's just egg yolk, some sugar, and in this case, red wine. Traditionally, it's done with marsala. You cook it, that kind of gets to the consistency you want. Ours is very elegant and smooth. And then we top that with just some fresh berries. In this case, I think it's blackberries and raspberries on there right now.
Oh,
and then we do, it's so good.
Oh, the red wine. Oh,
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah, it really dances. Like the red wine, like you get.
Oh, my God.
You get, when you're drinking red wine and you do the. But
yes.
Yeah, but this one, like, it's just there because it's so cooked and concentrated.
I love the reaction because I actually haven't even tried this.
Oh, it came out really good.
I'm still with blackberry here.
Yeah, for sure. And then we did a chocolate ganache covered ladyfinger. Just, you kind of use that as a vessel to just scoop it up and bite it. But I really thought that came out awesome. Yeah, I was really worried about it. And then upon execution for this, I was like, all right, this works really well.
All right. I gotta figure out how to put this into words for when I come back. The panna cotta I got. I can knock that out of the park. Sure. This I've never experienced anything like there was.
Yeah,
I've never experienced anything because the way the wine just flushes your entire palate.
Yeah, it really opens it up. So you get like all that, everything that you get in a Sangiovese that can sometimes be subtle and overrun by the alcohol or the tannins of the wine, which is what you want, right? You want wine to be structured when you're eating.
Mm-hmm.
This just kind of puts it all out in front of you, minus the stiff tannin, so it doesn't lock up your jaw. You don't get that. You just get this fresh berry. You still get the alcohol, like it's there, like
so
it's
the
wine.
alcohol is there.
Oh, I mean, we cook it down pretty good, so most of it evaporates, but the flavor of it is still in the dish. Yeah.
Okay, I'm stumped. I do Foodie Friday every Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and all summer long, the Louisiana Beef Industry Council sponsors it. So we celebrate beef from Memorial Day to Labor Day, and then the rest of the year we'll pair up and do some seafood, do some pork, whatever. But this would be like the perfect after steak dessert.
Yeah, and that was the goal. Like something, again, summertime, light, and then you're right. Like after a nice steak, that would be spot on.
It's like I like a Cabernet with my steak, right?
Right.
This would be like taking that up to another level.
Yeah, and we tried it with a couple of different wines, and we did a Barolo first, and that kind of opened up a little bit of earthiness. Maybe it was the Barolo that we used, but you kind of got some like umami mushroom and a little. Yeah, it was a little. Again, Shannon tried that one, and she's like, that one's too funky.
Yeah.
So I did, the tough part of the job, and I tasted a whole bunch of wines. And I
appreciate your sacrifice.
Thank you. And finally I landed on a Montepulciano, which is 100% Sangiovese, and I was like, this is going to be the one. And cooked it on actually Monday evening, and it, I was like, this is going to work. This is where it's at. I think it's going to set up great. I think it's going to be good. And I'm very, really, really pleased with that one. I thought it came out lovely.
Yeah, like we don't have a ton of choices on this menu, but it was very intentional because we knew kind of the amount of people that we may have in the building, and we wanted to make sure that we executed it in such a way that wasn't just throwing stuff on a menu or taking stuff off of our menu and adding it to this. Like, we really wanted to put value behind it.
856 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. If you were watching on Facebook Live, you already know I'm stumped. I am absolutely stumped here. We've got Shannon and Jason in from Nino's with us this morning, as it is Restaurant Week. You can find them there, one of the 56 restaurants celebrating Restaurant Week. They brought some desserts for me to try this morning. You had the espresso panna cotta, which is phenomenal. The lemon curd that goes along with it, that pistachio brickle, which I never had brickle before, and it's like a pistachio toffee.
Yep, 100%.
Okay, you got that the espresso taste, the coffee ground, the coffee that's in there. It's a little bit subtle. It kind of smooths out the lemon, because the lemon that lemon pops real quick, and the espresso smooths it out. So I had that, and it's phenomenal. I would highly recommend that. Except, and you're going to have to give me the pronunciation of this word again, because I just experienced something that I've never experienced before, and I'm floored.
Yeah, so we did a chilled red wine, Zabaione. So traditional Italian custard, bunch of egg yolk, sugar, and a ton of red wine. And we just cooked that down. It's a little labor of love, honestly. It sounds really simple, but you're on a double boiler for, I probably did 45 minutes of whisking. Until it was the consistency that we wanted. But it came out lovely.
So the consistency on the custard is smooth and light. The whole thing is light, by the way, and there's some berries in there to complement that. I didn't even try the ladyfinger that goes in there, but I can tell you, as soon as this hits your palate, the Sangiovese wine just explodes.
Yeah,
I mean, and there's no room for it, but it remains light. I don't know how you can have a heavy red wine that remains so light the whole way through. The flavors that come through with this are just, I can't overemphasize the wine because it's so expressive within it. And I need to go back and try that ladyfinger, because I feel like I'm not doing the whole thing justice. But then they have like a blackberry or a raspberry on top of that. It stays fruity and light, and the custard stays light as well. But I am speechless when it comes to how good this dessert is.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. We were really happy with it. I don't have an Italian cooking background. I'm a Hispanic kid from San Antonio. Right, yeah. Well, but I'm a student of restaurants. And so when we purchased Nino's, first thing I did was go across the street to Barnes & Noble and load up on cookbooks and whatever I get my hands on. Right. Every day I try to read a little bit, and I stumbled upon this recipe, and we use it for our a rendition of it for our tiramisu in-house. Okay. So I was like, let's build on this. And so we switched up the wine in it. We went with the red wine. We tried it with the Barolo. We talked about that on Facebook Live. Yeah. It didn't really work. It kind of got funky, earthy, mushroomy, umami. Yeah. Maybe for something different, But I tasted a whole bunch of wines because due diligence is important. And we landed on the Montepulciano, the Sangiovese, and it was banging. It worked out great.
It is absolute perfection. Push Nino's to the top of your to-do list for Restaurant Week. No, there's so many different choices out there.
Oh, they're all great.
But mission freaking accomplished over here, guys. Shannon and Jason Lopez from Nino's, thank y'all so much for a couple minutes this morning.
Yeah, our pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely. We got okay. So tomorrow we step away from Restaurant Week because we got to have Commissioner Dr. Strain in for the 8 o'clock hour. Hagai's in the 6 o'clock hour. Crime Stoppers coming your way. Full slate for tomorrow. We will see you then. Stick around. Moon Griffon's up next. All right. All right, Facebook. We'll see y'all later.